What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all tuning in today. I got some special guests for you that I'm going to bring up here, starting with my guy, Philly Notion. I got my guy, Tone Deshields.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing?
And I got my guy, Foothills with the Nest out west, all in here for y'all today. Man, I'm excited, guys. We're going to talk a little draft. We're going to talk a little bit about roster construction. Hey, man, we're just going to talk, man. These are some young Eagle content creators that I'm excited to kind of bring to you guys, man. I'm going to go ahead and let Philly Notion get us fired up. Go ahead, Philly Notion. Do what you do, bro.
Man, you already know. First and foremost, man, shout out to my guy, Gate. Hey, the most cerebral content creator. Hey, y'all already know. And I done already nominated my man. He need to be DC up in Philadelphia. So let's go get that out the way first and foremost. Salute to my day one guy. But, hey, yeah! Warm it up, though. You know what time it is. You know you are. You know who you rocking with. It's your boy Philly Notion. Notion gang, salute. Hey, you already know. Hey, Gay, let me check the 4K. Hold up. Hey, Lambo, check. Hey, ring, check. I know they see it. We're going blind on the day, brother. Hey, if y'all new to this ride, check out me and all the guys and go that subscribe. Because y'all know how we rocking. Let's go get this fun, my brother. Let's go turn this thing up.
What is good? Go ahead, Tone. Tell everybody who you are. What you about, man?
What's good, everybody? As you guys already know, the one and only Tone Deshields II from Chalk It Up. Where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. As always, I'm supremely humbled to be a part of this content creation for everybody involved. Gate City Sport, Philly Notion, and also my man, the Nest out west with Fully Foothills. Super grateful to be rocking with these guys, man. These guys are all doing good things, respectively. Notion, my man, is grinding to the wheels fall off. The Nest out west, up and coming, grinding to the wheels fall off. Keep your foot to the pedal. That foot on the pavement. You cannot stop running. You cannot stop riding. Gate City, OG, triple OG, doing his thing. As always, giving us the most cerebral, the most intellectual, the most nuanced sports content out right now, man. If you guys have any sort of questions about the game from a more cerebral, from a more technical, from a more schematic perspective, the guy Gate City Sports content. Like, comment, and subscribe to my man Philly Notion, and also like, comment, subscribe to the Nest Out West. And by the way, don't forget your boy Tony Deshields talk it up. So Nest Out West, I'm gonna let you do the thing, my man.
What is good? What is going on? And what is cracking? I am Philly Foothills, and I am back in the Nest Out West, where I'm trying to bring you the best when it comes to Philadelphia Eagles content. And I'm very, very humbled and appreciative to be on here with you guys today. Got my boy Tone, got my boy Philly Notion, and first time working with Gate City, but very, very grateful and humbled to be a part of this. And yes, please, you guys, if you guys haven't subbed up my guys here, please sub them up. We are all, working hard at this YouTube content thing, try to provide you great Eagles content. So please show the love and pay it forward. So yes, please. And come check out your boy here, Nest Out West. I'm out here rocking it in Cali. I bleed green 365 days a year. So let's go, boys. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So, man, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off right from the jump. We're going to give the people what they want to know. We're going to give the people what they want. Let's start it off right away, guys. I'm not asking you guys to tell me a guy you think is 100% going to be cut. I'm asking you guys, if you assess the roster, can you think of one player that might be, man, that surprise cut where we all go, whoa, what just happened? Like, why did they cut this guy? Like, let's start there, guys. Who wants to jump in first and tell me one surprise cut you guys might see potentially happen?
I'll jump on it. I'll say Jordan Howard first. I think Jordan Howard could be possibly the odd man out at running back. Especially if Elijah Holyfield can show some things in training camp and start showing that he could be that bruiser type of back for us. I think there's a good chance Jordan Howard could be out. What do you think, Tone?
Honestly, do not be surprised if J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is out the door. He cannot have a bad day in this camp. This camp is very packed. he is literally on the chopping block. It's at this point now where he's not allowed, he can't afford any more bad days. I'll put it that way.
Hey, hold on, real quick.
That wouldn't surprise me though if JJ got cut though.
Right. From a talent, from a productive perspective, yeah, it wouldn't surprise us because he hasn't given us anything. But because of what we know, because of who our GM is and how much Howard believes he's invested in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, which was a second round pick, he likes to ride those kind of things out to see what it can potentially do. So again, don't be surprised if J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is cut.
Hey, listen, let me go and shout my guy. I see Drew up in the comments talking about my boy Adrian Killins is getting cut. No, sir. My man Adrian Killins is making his roster. So y'all already know this. There ain't going to be no shocker cut. But who I think might be a shocking cut, honestly, and I just don't know how he's going to recover from coming back from injury. But I do believe Rodney McLeod might not make this team. I mean, we just picked up, a pretty solid safety linebacker-ish and Stevens?
Jacoby Stevens.
So I mean, honestly, I think McLeod's job right now, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut. And I mean, we know he's put in his work on the Philadelphia Eagles, but injuries. And I mean, I think that contract is probably going to be a little hefty considering he's a veteran. He has put in that work. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Rodney McLeod get cut or not make this final roster.
Okay.
Interesting picks, guys. I think there's a lot of uncharted territory here, and I think it's difficult, right? Because we know that probably somebody we're not expecting is going to get on that chopping block, right? And I think some of you guys picked up on it, right? I get what Tone's saying because none of the wide receivers outside of probably Rager and Smith are really safe. Those two guys, they're first-round picks. They've been done in the past, obviously Smith this year, Rager the year prior. You're not going to part ways with a first-round pick that soon, right?
Right.
Any of the other receivers, I think, are fair game. I think you could absolutely make a case for any of them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say Zach Ertz. That's entirely too obvious. That's a real obvious one, right?
That's the easy answer, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the most obvious thing, right? I was going to go with Boston Scott, but I think that one's a little too obvious, right? I think Boston Scott is just entirely too obvious. I'm going to tell you where I think the surprise cut could come. And I think it's going to come between maybe two players. Two guys who have played weird kind of roles. One guy's played a much larger role than the other guy, but the other guy probably you think could have a fit here. It just depends on what they want to shape the roster to. The number one guy I'll say is TJ Edwards. I think TJ Edwards is in trouble depending on what they want to do with the multiple line shifts. Because if you're going to start playing multiple and you're going to start playing 3-3-5s, right, or 52 front, that means that you're probably going to opt for a joker, a stand-up pass rusher. We already know that they're listing Jannard Avery, and I think they're also they're listing the young kid out of Tulane as well as a linebacker, Patrick Johnson, which neither of those are linebackers. They're both Correct. Russians. That's got to come from somewhere on the roster, right? Somebody's going to get left out of favor. The inverse of that is if TJ Edwards, because I think TJ Edwards is vastly underrated. I think he's actually a really good football player.
Me too.
I just think people look at him and they say, that's the way the game used to be played. Well, I mean, yeah, it is, but he's playing it pretty well compared to the rest of the linebackers, to be real, when you go into the deeper analytics behind this young man. But I'll tell you this. If you put TJ Edwards on the roster, then that probably means that a guy like Jannard Avery or a guy like Patrick Johnson could be susceptible, because then that might mean that you're not going to run as much of those kind of multiple fronts like a 3-3-5 or a 52. So, I think somewhere in that area you could see somebody you're not expecting to get cut. I'm just naming those two, but it really could be a lot of different people, right? It could be a Sean Bradley, but I think that they would look at Sean Bradley in TJ Edwards' role and say he's more athletic. So we'll take Bradley in that role as the more athletic version of it. I mean, that's kind of where I would maybe lean towards it. But I agree with you guys, man. There's a lot of I don't think a lot of positions are safe, honestly.
Hey, I'm looking right now in this chat. Hey, salute to Jonathan Holly. Hey, Matt Pryor. What's going on with Matt Pryor? I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, yeah, that's another one that might be getting cut up out of here also, because the team, for whatever reason, didn't find value in him last year. It was like they didn't trust him for whatever reason. So, yeah, that's another one. I ain't going to be shocked. But I'd like to ask you, though, Gate, because, yeah, it's kind of obvious, right? And I know you said that with the whole Zach Ertz situation. But the man is still here. And, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a possibility he might still be on this roster. I'm concerned with how his mentality is going to be if that's the case. And, I mean, do you see how do you see it? I mean, are there ways where he still will be on this team? You know, do you see that as a possibility? And I want to know what your thoughts is on that because, again, it should be obvious that, you know, we saw Zach Ertz, you know, crying. Look, when you seeing a grown man cry, you know, on his last pretty much game day appearance, the writing's on the wall pretty much. He's probably gone. But he's still here. I don't know what's going on. I thought he was getting traded draft day. I'd like to know everybody's thoughts on that.
Hey, that's a good question. Hunter Doyle, before we go in here, hey, Hunter, let everybody know who you are, what you are. Already got the other guys, man. We're excited, man. We got a good roundtable going here.
Hey, Gabe, appreciate you having me. Appreciate all you guys being on here. It's good to see all you guys again. It's been a long semester. So, yeah, I'm Hunter. I write on InsideEagles.com, and I do Philly Insider podcast with my buddies on YouTube. And, yeah, I just love all these guys' content, and I'm glad to be on here with you guys. Honored.
Hunter, my guy.
My God, Philly Insider podcast.
All right, Notion, you wanted me to tackle that question first? You want to let the guys go first?
Hey, I need to hear from the GOAT. I need to hear from the cerebral. You know it. I got to hear it cerebrally.
Yeah. I think here's my take on it, Notion. I think Howie, the front office, I think the coaching staff, I think they all want Zach Ertz. I don't think Zach Ertz wants it. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think he wants to be here. And I think if he wanted to be here, he'd be here for at least the extent of this last year of his contract. Because for the Eagles, if you can't trade this young man, he's not really that young anymore. I guess that's not. You can't trade this partially old football man. Then you know what I'm saying? Like you're losing compensation because you don't get a compensatory pick for cutting him early. That's not the way it works with compensatory picks. Right. So the only thing you're really getting is the cash value of the contract to get out of it, right? You're going to eat some dead money, but you're still going to save enough on the net on that to actually get about pretty close to $5 million back. But I got to be here with you, Notion. I would love to have him here, and I think it's almost smarter for the Eagles to say, look, Zach, work with us. Just work with us, man. Nobody's going to work with this contract until they get desperate or they're really in playoff mode and they're willing to spend to try to get the Lombardi. Then we might be able to move you. So maybe a trade deadline thing.
One of the things, and you know, again, we ain't gonna see it till it, you know, officially comes to fruition. But I get nervous because you know some of these players get in a mindset of self-preservation mode, right? Like you know they're gonna get out there. He gonna know. Listen, I can't risk no injury out here. You know, I got a contract year possibly coming up. I want the best all-in Zach Ertz. So that makes me nervous, you know, and I don't know if it's a better option to possibly make them a pre-June 1st cut. I don't know. And those are the things I'd like to know. Is that in the best interest of this team? You know, should we keep Zach Ertz long-term? I don't know. And those are the things that concern me with Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I feel you on that notion. It's like Zach Ertz is in a situation where, like Gates said, it's like, well, actually, no, like everyone's saying, really, you know, he doesn't really want to be here at this point. You know, like, and completely understand why. His guy CW11 isn't here anymore. It is what it is. And, you know, that guy knew his days in Philly and the green was pretty much done, you know, at that press conference. Now, you know, I think it'd be best to just part ways with him any way possible. If you have to, you do what you have to do. We have to make sure this franchise is all on the same accord. We're moving forward. We don't have time to look backward, you know, to carry people with us. It's either you with us or you're against us at this point. That's how I feel. That's how I'm feeling. You have to make it. And like what you said, once these players get to a certain point in their careers, they start to enter self-preservation mode. And Zach Ertz is in a position now where he's trying to put himself in the best position, you know, to get his money. And, you know, and also I'm pretty sure he wants to win. I know for a fact he doesn't want to go to a situation where things aren't really competitive. So he's trying, you know, to get a 2-for-1. He's trying to win somewhere else, and he's also trying to get his money. Now, as age, when he's coming off of one of his worst seasons of his career, and he was injured, you know, I highly doubt he'll get the money anymore. So, well, you know, we'll see what happens, but I'm on the side of, you know, trying to trade him and get whatever you can. You know, I'm not saying wait for a third rounder or whatever someone was willing to give you, get the asset, move on, because we're moving forward. And like I said before, if you're not on the train, then you're gonna get left at the stop.
Yeah. Joseph Vega coming in with the $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you. He was getting in. He was going after Philly 500 the other day. It was pretty funny. So Joseph Vega says, Tony, and Mr. Notion himself, and the GOAT Steven. What's good, man? I appreciate the GOAT status. How are you guys doing?
Go.
Tony, I said it when I made Fresh mad. Eagles 11-6 and Hurts 34 touchdowns and 3,800 yards passing. I don't know if that's going to happen, Joseph, but I'll take it.
I'll take
I'm
that.
I'm going to pull the Peter Griffin with the free to bet. I'll take it.
Hey, you know I'm rocking with it, Joseph. You already know, my guy. Let's get it.
So what do you think?
I think we would all take that.
Yeah, what do you think, Philly Foothills? What do you think about the Ertz situation?
But as far as Zach Ertz goes, I mean, I think that it would be best. I think it would be best for. I think it would be. So I agree with you guys. I think it's definitely a situation that needs to be addressed. If Coach Sirianni can kind of talk him into buying into his system, and this is my take on it, because I think if Zach Ertz goes somewhere else, he's going to be probably the first. He's going to be probably the second target. Maybe the first, possibly. He has lost a step a little bit in my eyes. As he's gotten older, he never was super fast coming out of college anyway. But I think if he's looking to get paid again, I think his best option actually would be to stay and to play for us and to put out a good effort this year and to try to put up some good numbers, because, with the weapons that we now have with Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, he's going to be the tight end one. I definitely think so. But, he can have some options where he can get on the field and make some plays, and he's not going to have the best guy on him anymore from the opposing defense. And that's what really slowed him down the last couple of years, is we really didn't have very many weapons. We didn't have a whole lot of options. And the opposing defenses knew that if they shut down Zach Ertz, they took away a big weapon, especially for Carson Wentz. I should say number 2 for the Colts. I try not to say his name very much anymore, but yeah, I mean, that's my take. That's my take on Ertz. I think it would be better suited for him to stay, but for us, it's got for him to stay. He's got to be bought into the system, and he's got to be willing to to play second fiddle to D-God.
Yeah. Hey, Foothills, we do us a favor, we try to unplug your audio and plug it back in. I guess everyone's kind of they're hearing it in the background still. So what about you, man? What do you think, Hunter? What do you think about the Zach Ertz situation?
Yeah, I think Tone makes a good case that we're entering a new era of Eagles football right now, right? And if Ertz doesn't want to be here for that new era, I mean, we've got to move forward with the guys we have. I think a big thing with Ertz being here was the connection he had with Carson Wentz. And obviously Carson Wentz isn't here anymore. And with this new era, you want to have the guys who Jalen Hurts is comfortable with. When Jalen Hurts came in and started at the back end of the season, they had certain guys inactive that they didn't have inactive for Carson based on who Jalen Hurts kind of had a good rapport with. So I think that's a big thing for me. And I don't know about you guys. There's no way to really test this, but I feel like it affected Ertz's performance a ton last year, and he was visibly pretty frustrated while he was on the field a lot of the time. So if that's going to be the case, I think it's best for both sides to just get a fresh start and for him to just move on and go somewhere else and kind of be that second tight end. Maybe he can still be a first tight end on some teams. I don't know who else is interested in him at this point, but like Tone said, like if you can get a little bit of compensation for him at this point, like even just like a sixth, maybe you take that over just cutting him this season. But yeah, you also, I remember I completely forgot we had pre-June 1st cuts and made a video on Ertz about that, or post-June 1st cuts, and you commented about the compensatory picks we could get next year. So if he's willing to stay and work things out, and then next year we can get some compensation for him, that'll be a little bit more. Maybe you do that. But again, if he doesn't want to be here, you got to move on.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's tough because, I still like the player a lot, but it's tough. It is tough. All right, Drew with the $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you, Drew. He said, shout out to the Philly Kings. So you know what? With all that fluff, address the elephant in the room. Deshaun Watson, well, how we get him? I say yes. We'll bring it up, Drew. We got you, man. We'll bring it up. And also, my guy Joseph Vega came back with another $5 super chat. Said, sorry guys, I'm pulling it up slowly. I disagree. Send Ertz in a fourth to the Patriots for Gilmore. He counts 7.9, Ertz 12.4. We save money, get a very good corner. Smith will have 13 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. The only problem I see with that, Joseph Vega, is why in the world would the Patriots want Ertz when they've already signed 2 free agent tight ends? They already spent entirely too much money on that. You know what I mean? At this point. So I think it's a little challenging to do that, but I mean, look, if they were open for that, in a heartbeat, send Ertz in a 4th rounder for Gilmore. I mean, that makes our secondary elite. I just don't think that it's going to happen. I don't think that the Patriots are really and honestly.
Yeah, people need to stop with all that.
See, and the thing is, honestly, how we messed this all up, honestly, because we saw it last year. I think we were saying it at a point in time. Listen, we need to trade Zach Ertz before, I think it was like the injury deadline or some sort like that. And then he got injured right before and couldn't be traded. So that pretty much just plummeted his whole value all last year. His max value was last year before that injury. We could have got him up out of here at that point in time if we didn't want to sign him. How we sat on his hands. We saw what happened. He got put on IR, couldn't be traded. And now here we are right now, trying to decide on what his best status is. Again, I don't think nothing's changed from that. We need to go ahead and it's evident we can't find a trade partner. We can't force a trade. These teams ain't even wanting Zach Ertz, and that's a sad thing. So, listen, we got to figure something out. And in my opinion, if we don't get it figured out, I think it's best to cut him. Again, I'm not a fan of that because I want some trade value. But at the same time, I don't want a demotivated player, stepping on this field out here. So it's tough, man. I feel so much for Zach, but we got to see how this works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a tough situation. Joseph Vega with another $5 super chat. Joseph Vega, I appreciate you, buddy. He said, Hurts put a hurting on the NFC this year. Sanders punishes, and Smith breaks a lot of ankles. Steven, this team will be very good. If you don't know, now you know. Hey, Joseph Vega, I love the confidence, brother. I love the confidence. I don't share quite that confident level, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Give me the NFC East and I'll take it.
You see, I definitely appreciate Vega being, extremely high on Hurts. At the end of the day, we all want Hurts to win, right? That's the ultimate thing. We want Hurts to really take that next step as a quarterback, and I think he's been doing all of the things in the offseason that you want your quarterback to do. He's been working out with all the new guys and the guys from last year. He's been showing that he's trying to build that relationship. He's trying to enter the season already ahead of the game when it comes to just chemistry. And I think that's something that's been lacking the past couple of years, even with our previous quarterback. There always seemed to be some sort of disconnect. Now, granted, we've always dealt with injuries, at the wide receiver room, Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. Then the O-line. So there hasn't been continuity on this team. You can make an argument for the past two or so years. And that's something that needs to be constant on a football team. In football, there's so many moving parts, right? And if too many parts are not in sync, then everything else is just going to start crumbling down. So at this point, I think it's imperative. It's imperative for Zach Ertz to be out of the building. We cannot have him toxifying this nucleus we're trying to build. He's not a bad guy. I want to make that very clear. Zach Ertz is not a bad guy. He's done all the right things by the organization. He's given us his body. He's given us his spirit. He's given us everything. When it counted, and he's been one of the more reliable guys on this team. But like Notion said, and I'm going to say it again, self-preservation is starting to become paramount for him. And at this point, I don't see him surviving this quote-unquote retooling or rebuild. The same thing with Jason Kelce. I don't see Jason Kelce lasting for beyond this year because, again, he's in double-digit years. His career, he's undersized. So all the strength that he had prior when he was younger, he's starting to lose that, and now his size is starting to become a factor. You know what I'm saying? So The bottom line is we just need to have guys in this building that are all in on what's going on. We don't need everybody that's on different pages, that has ulterior motives, that's hoping for something else, that's still thinking about the guy that was here before. We need everyone to be on the same accord and moving forward.
Yeah. Joseph Vega with another $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. I mean, you're right, man. Like, I still think he has 3 years left in him too. So Joseph Vega said, Steven, you're right. Then give up a fourth and something for Gilmore. Patriots are asking for a third or fourth. I want Gilmore. He has 3 years left in him at least. Look, if a third or a fourth rounder nets you Gilmore and you can get another 3 years out of Gilmore, yeah, I'm in favor of that. I mean, it's hard to find dudes of Gilmore's talent level in the NFL. I mean, just to be straight up honest, and forward about it, it's a difficult thing to find in the NFL. And him and Slay, then you got the young kid as your third. Then you can kind of work with Craig James as your fourth, or you can play a lot of different roles, right? Then you got an actual fight for your fifth cornerback position between guys like, a Shaquille Taylor, a kid that actually knows the system, right? Then we can take a look and see what we think about other young guys, right? I mean, we have the young undrafted rookie free agent we had last year that we were really high on in camp, and then they threw that poor man out there on the island with Hopkins and freaking the entire Dallas receiving corps. They did that man dirty. They did that man so freaking dirty. No safety help. Go earn your money, young man. Like, whoa. That was so dirty what they did to that young man. But yeah, Michael Jacquet, man. I think Michael Jacquet can actually play. I just think he got done dirty by the Eagles in that situation. And I know, guys, there's complexity to it. I mean, I know that Jim Johnson – you guys see what I'm saying here. I know Jim Schwartz didn't have a whole lot of choice in this. Like, the secondary was depleted, but, man.
I like to ask you that on Gates, because I like to know your thoughts too, man, because that's one of the trends I've been seeing in Philly. And that's what makes me honestly nervous about our new pickup in Zach McPherson. Like, all these cornerbacks, it's sad we have to reach out to free agency and other teams to get solid cornerbacks. Our development has been horrible. Like you said, there was no reason to have Michael Jacquet out on an island with DeAndre Hopkins as a rookie. What is that going to help this man's development? That's killing this man's
DeAndre. That's the crazy part. He played well against him.
Yeah, he played well in the Arizona game too. It was the Gallup game.
So I'm just trying to understand, what is our internal issue with that? We are trash at developing our own internal prospects. I mean, like you said, I know you ain't meant to mention Jim Johnson, but we ain't seen a defense like that since Jim Johnson back in that, back in them days. So I need to figure out what's going on with the development of our corners. I mean, I got a little bit of confidence in Zach McPherson just because our new coaching staff, Jonathan Gannon. But again, looking at history, we got to reach out. I want Gilmore also because we have a problem developing our own talent. So give me Gilmore also, Joseph. I'm all aboard for that, brother.
Anybody else want to jump in on that one?
Man, I feel like Notion hit it on the head, man. When it comes to the corner situation, we haven't been the best at developing guys. That's been our biggest weakness, in years, especially during the Doug Peterson era. I firmly believe in that in the Doug Peterson era. Who did we truly develop? Like who? Who on defense can we say we developed them to be a top tier talent? I can't name anybody on defense, especially in the DB room. I maybe Avonte Maddox, but maybe. My Avonte Maddox still has many flaws.
Safety.
So it's just we'll see. We'll see what happens. I really have high hopes for Zach McPherson. I definitely believe we need to go get a guy in free agency in order to establish some more of a veteran presence on the outside. When it comes to cornerback, maybe it is a step like Gilmore. Maybe we go for a guy that's younger and Steven Nelson, who has gotten a lot of snaps in Pittsburgh. We'll see.
Yeah, 2020. No, sir, he didn't get shredded at Arizona. Michael Jacquet had a really freaking good game at Arizona. He got beat by Gallup because he couldn't keep up with the foot speed. But you got to remember 2020. You're talking about corner is one of the toughest positions to start as a rookie and be successful, especially with the advancement in the rules now. So I think you're giving up on Michael Jacquet entirely too early. He was never supposed to be the second corner option as an undrafted rookie free agent, his first time around. Like, it just that was not ideal. Like, that was a practice squad guy that you developed into like a back of the roster special teams contributor that got really forced into a bad situation, man. Like, that's, and to get around the Notion's point, like, yeah, man, there's some craziness to that, dude. There's definitely some craziness to what's going on developmental wise. That's why I'm so high on Gannon coming in here. That's why I'm so high on some of the hires we've made. Like, even Rocker down on the defensive line. You're talking about a college football Hall of Famer. Like, I'll take my shot with that guy being able to develop talent. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. Joseph Vega, let me get to your super chat, buddy. If I forget, I appreciate you, buddy. He said, Smith too small, Sanders washed up, Fulgham a fluke, Hurts inaccurate, can't get job done, Grimes undrafted. They all have something to prove. They have a chip. I hope they come in with a chip on the shoulder because we're going to need it. We're going to need to play with that chip, that's for sure. No doubt about it. What's going on, Nikki? Nikki said, hey, what a great night for Eagles talk. We agree.
Do you think cornerbacks, do they come? Somebody left me something one time, and I was curious on that thought, but do cornerbacks, do they come from college with having that it factor already? Or is that something that, again, do you develop corners? Or do they already just have that it and, you just got to draft that it factor? Because, again, I haven't seen us develop nothing in Philadelphia. So I just need to know what we're missing on. Why can't we get, that shutdown cornerback? Why can't we develop it? So,
it seems like to me, you had once every few years, in my opinion, there's like that one guy that just comes in and just like a Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey came in shutting guys down. It's rare you got cornerbacks that are just coming in that early, that hot, that dominant. That's just my opinion about it. Other than that, I'm pretty sure there are first-round talent cornerbacks, but he had to go through the growing pains. Jalen Ramsey, I don't even think he knows what growing pains look like.
I mean, Gay City touched on it. A lot of it, too, has to do with the growing pains coming from college, because a lot of these guys coming out of college, are very grabby. They're going to get bit in the NFL because the referees are better. They watch for that, and they're not going to be able to get away with nearly as much as they have in college. So that's going to be something that some of these more aggressive guys are going to have to work on. Like a J.C. Horn, for example. I mean, he's not going to be able to get away with a lot of the stuff that he got away with in college. So that's going to be a learning curve for him as well.
Yeah, I think you just look at John Gannon too. You have Kenny Moore, who really developed into a slot corner. He didn't come in just being an amazing slot corner right away. Even Rocky Sin coming from Temple, he's got his issues. He's not anything crazy, but I feel like he definitely developed him more than we've developed a lot of the young guys on our roster before. So I definitely think there are some guys that do have that it factor who come in here and are just locked down. I feel like Jair Alexander came in and really just lit things up pretty early, but every corner needs some development and needs to work on some things. Like Philly Foothills said, J.C. Horn's got to work on the grabbiness a little bit. So I'm as big of a J.C. Horn fan as I am. So I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, in Jonathan Gannon, we trust. Let's get it.
Yeah, he has experience. That's the thing. Jonathan Gannon has proven that he can turn guys, who are undrafted into some pretty productive guys. For example, Anthony Harris, he was a safety, with the Vikings that came over here with us. He was completely undrafted. He was projected to go much higher than being undrafted, but I think he had a shoulder injury or something like that set him back. But nonetheless, Anthony Harris, he turned into a very productive safety in Minnesota, and hopefully that translates over to Philadelphia, especially that Jonathan Gannon's here. I think a lot of this is solely dependent on Jonathan Gannon being able to bring the best out of these guys. Most of the main reason this coaching staff is here is beyond just scheming and play calling and just being, youthful. These guys are universally known as developers. Brian Johnson, Jonathan Gannon, Nick Sirianni, Tracy Rocker. Those guys have hung their hats on being developers. And I think that's been one of the biggest things that's been missing with this Philadelphia Eagles team, especially when it comes to drafting. We haven't developed guys in so long, which is why we've had to dip in the free agent pool, and then we end up overpaying guys. We've literally just been, cutting our noses to spite our face in so many situations.
Yeah. What's up, Joseph Vega? Another super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Says Notion. We have Howie. That's why our corners.
I hear you, Joseph. But listen, hey, Howie ain't in that developmental room. So I ain't going to put it all on Howie, but I know what you're saying, brother. He need to get it fixed. It's a problem.
Spike 23 said, you guys did a fantastic job draft weekend. A plus draft pending Dickerson's health. That's going to be a very key one, Spike, because I think that young man has a tremendous amount of talent and is definitely a top 20 player if health holds. But the problem is his health has to be a part of an evaluation. And I can't tell you that he's going to be healthy. I'm not a doctor. I don't, not a physical therapist, and I don't even play one on YouTube. So like, I've just got no clue, man. I got no clue what to do with that one.
I saw, how he had his press conference where he's talking about, he trusts, to trust the medical staff. I found that a little disturbing because there has been nothing that's given me any kind of confidence in the past years to trust this medical staff.
Yeah.
So when Howie said that, it kind of burned my ears a little bit because that, if that's what we hoping on, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm not feeling that. But again, hopefully, this kid, from what I'm hearing from Dickerson, he's over here busting cartwheels, doing extreme leg stretches I ain't never even heard of, for that kind of an athlete. So, hey, listen, if he's doing all that, hopefully he is ready to go, and hopefully I can just cross my fingers with our medical staff, but I got no confidence in that.
Yeah, this is touching on what Gates said too. I can't really touch on the injury thing either, but I agree. I think he has all pro potential if healthy. He's just so good at getting downfield to the second and third level and just extending his arms, getting in the opponent's chest. He has a good base underneath him too. Everything you want in him, his just stealing blocks, pulling around the corner too. He just does everything so well. The only concern I really have with him is the injury concern, and obviously the versatility is huge too. Just having that, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I think just having a guy like him who can keep his head on a swivel. I feel like we got fooled by a lot of stunts and delayed blitzes last year a lot, and I just think having a guy like him who's just matches the kind of maybe not the most athletic guy, but matches his technique and fundamentals with the intelligent side of the game that he brings. If healthy, this is going to be a stud. But I agree, Notion. I don't know how we're supposed to trust the medical staff after just years and years and years and years. I want to ask you guys, do you think it's the medical staff? Do you think it's the fact that we've just had a lot of veterans around? What do you guys think it is that's just caused all these injuries the past years? Do you think it's just a fluke or what?
If I could jump in on that real quick, I think it was a combination of. Well, you know what? I'll just put it to you like this. I feel like the previous regime, they gave these players just a little too much say so when it came to how they felt, and just them just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm good, coach. I'll play through you. I'm good, coach." Sometimes you got to know. Sometimes you have to save a player from themselves, and there are times where we've allowed guys to just gut through it. Perfect example, Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson should have never been playing last year. The way he was literally grinding bone on bone in those ankles. He should have never been on that field. And my thing is, when you're nursing particular injuries, after a certain point, you become more of a liability rather than an actual asset. Like I said, sometimes you have to save these players from themselves. Talent aside, if a guy is not right, he's not right, and it is what it is. Sit back, get the injury taken care of, heal up, and then we'll see you next week or the following week or however long we need to see you. But we need to start being a little bit more proactive. We need to start actually allowing these, trusting these doctors' work. Because listen, what if it's not the medical staff? What if the medical staff is saying, hey, listen, this is something I don't think you should play on. But a guy like Lane Johnson saying, no, I'm good, coach, I'm good. And then Doug Peterson said, you know what? I trust my guy. My guy said he's good. He's good. No, if the doctor's saying, yo, I will not play on this if I were you, maybe you should heed that advice. And I'm not saying that's a fact, but what if that was the case? Because it is known that Doug Peterson was a players coach. He was real big on listening to his players, and when his players said they were good to go, they were good to go. When the players said they weren't good to go, he'll let them sit. So there has to come a time where we just, I'll say it one more time, we have to start, putting our foot down and saving players from themselves.
Yeah. Joseph Vega with the $2 super chat said, how he hired them, let them stay. He's responsible.
I agree with you, John, though. I mean, I think
my guy,
I think a prime example of that is Jason Peters. I mean,
Go ahead, Philly. Go ahead.
My bad, guys. Sorry if I'm delaying. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I mean, a prime example of that is Jason Peters. I think that they let him, keep returning to the field way before he even should have, even if he should have at all. So, I think they let him call the shots a lot of the way when it came to his playing time. So, that Jason Peters is just a good example of that. So I agree with you, Tone.
Yeah, I don't think Jason Peters should have been here, period. But, that's just me.
Hey, that man should be retired, brother. He should be on a yacht right now. Let's just go ahead and call a spade a spade. Hey, go ahead and put your jacket on now, JP. Hall of Fame, you on the way, but just hang it up. It's time. It's time to hang it up.
Yes, sir. Green Wingman coming in with the $5 super chat says the most consistent you can trust is the Eagles. Is lack of transparency. Hey, Jordan Howard is still day to day. Any day now that corner's going to be right. Right. That's the craziest day to day diagnosis I ever heard in my life. My guy went day to day throughout the entire rest of the season.
You know what's so crazy about that game? It was times I was noticing that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he'll be here next week. But it didn't dawn on me that he was day-to-day for like 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Day-to-day. Like, it didn't dawn on me. I think you said something on the previous live stream, something like that. I was watching you talk. I think you were talking to Philly 500 or something like that. And you were just saying, like, yeah, Jordan Howard was day-to-day for pretty much the whole season. I'm like, damn, he was, wasn't he? Blew my mind.
I see it now. I didn't purposely skip this one. I didn't purposely skip it, bro. Honestly, I didn't see it. He said, "Notion, Steve will be partnering for some coffee." Laugh out loud.
Hey, y'all already know. Hey, y'all make sure y'all go get. Yes, sir. Go get my guy some coffee too, though. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So there was a question that got asked earlier in a super chat. And they were asking about the Deshaun Watson situation. I want to start off by saying I don't have any clue about the legal situation with Deshaun Watson. I don't want to step into the middle of that kind of battle because I don't know the facts of the case. I don't know what happened. I just know, like, how many masseuses do these guys have? Like, this don't even make no sense. Like how many masseuses can you possibly have? Like, I don't get it, man. I mean, that's the one thing that's perplexed me is like, must be nice where you could just hire a masseuse every day.
Right. And being honest, I wouldn't get close to the situation at all. I wouldn't even. Let's be real, man. We haven't even seen Jalen Hurts play. Like, we've seen 4 games. Let's pump the brakes on this whole Deshaun Watson thing. I think everyone's jumping out the window because he wants to get out of Houston. But what we don't realize, like, are we willing to leverage our entire future on Deshaun Watson, knowing what he's going through? I'm sorry, I'm just not willing to do that. He's going through too much, and even after the fact. Regardless, the situation, the way it stands, in a situation like that, you're guilty until proven innocent. So rather than the other way around. So I wouldn't touch that situation with a 10-foot pole. However it plays out, I'm willing to rock out with Jalen Hurts, until he's proven otherwise that he can't do the job. That's how I feel about it.
Hey, I'll touch on it real quick. Honestly, I just got a quick piece on it. Just like Tone said, we ain't even seen our quarterback that we just drafted in the 2nd round last year really have an opportunity yet. So in my opinion, again, Deshaun Watson, yes, he's talented. I'm not really a fan right now just with the limelight of the legal stuff. Maybe once that's all cleared and all that stuff taken care of down the road, if we stink because of Jalen Hurts, then by all means, yeah, we might have to look into something. But honestly, I'm all on Jalen Hurts this season, and he's getting my full support, at least until I see otherwise. So right now, I'm not feeling the Deshaun Watson. I'm in full support of Jalen. But again, I mean, I ain't gonna see her act like Deshaun Watson ain't talented. But we just watched. And I know some people are going to argue about whether Carson was a franchise quarterback or not, but we just watched somebody that we invested a lot in pretty much, walk out the door, created a quarterback controversy. I don't want no more of that. We just dug ourselves. We still digging out of that hole. So, hey, Deshaun Watson is a no-go for me.
Right, and real quick, from a cap perspective, why would we want to take on Deshaun Watson's contract right now? At the very least, why would we want any problems with that? We're still trying to figure out our cap situation. We still have many contracts on the books that we still need to get rid of. Fletcher Cox, you know what I'm saying? So, I just don't understand how some people think the way they think. And everyone has their own opinions. I'm not going to kill someone for having their opinion, but we have to look at it from the grand scheme of things. The money's still not right all the way. We still don't know what Jalen Hurts is in totality. For the most part, when it comes to a quarterback, you're not really going to know who he is until he's about 2 or 3 years into the league, maybe 4 years. So let's just all pump the brakes. Let's all just take it easy. Let's really take in what we have, and let's really find out what this situation, as far as our team, can become. Let's leave Deshaun Watson where he is. I'm on the Hurts train. All wholehearted. I really want to see this guy ball out because the way he's been going hard this offseason when it comes to preparation, balling out with the guys in the offseason, it's just been so many things, in my opinion. The way he met Devontae Smith, in the building, it's just certain things that I saw. It's certain things that I saw Jalen Hurts doing that I didn't see CW doing. It just like I said, Hurts is he's the people's champ right now, and I'm rocking with him. That's just how I'm feeling.
Yeah, and Tone, I think
you brought up a lot.
I think, Tone, you make a good point too, because regardless of whether Deshaun's innocent or guilty, obviously none of us know the facts of it. That's a whole other thing. That's a distraction off the field for everyone and for himself too. For Hurts right now, he's a man on a mission. We invested a 2nd-round pick in him. You want to get a return on that investment with hopefully his performance this year. Give him the year. You have 3 first-round picks next year. Just because you don't trade for Watson, that doesn't mean if Hurts is absolute garbage that you won't have options next year. And obviously, you don't know what opportunities are going to present themselves because Deshaun Watson isn't always going to be in the market, but there could be someone else on the market next offseason, or you could draft your future quarterback next year with one of those potentially 3 first-round picks if the opportunities presents itself. So, yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I'm not in on Deshaun Watson right now. I'm all in on Jalen Hurts.
Right. Too much of a distraction, like you said. Too much.
Yeah, I agree. It's a tough situation with that one just because I don't want to put a guy down that I don't know the facts of the case, and I don't want to get into the whole victim blaming thing either. You know what I'm saying? I just know that, my Lord, how many masseuses can a guy have? It seemed really weird from all angles. Really? What is happening here? I don't get this situation at all.
I think about a barber. For me, I have one barber that I go to that handles everything perfectly. He does things the way I like. He plays the music I want to hear. We have the conversations I want to have. He has all the oils and the sprays that I like. He does everything the way I like. So when it comes to a masseuse, if I find someone I like, if I like the vibes they're giving me, why would I need anyone else? That's to your point, Gates. Why do people have? Why does he? If it's not just him, but I'm pretty sure there are other athletes who have multiple. Why? Now I can probably understand. You probably have one for when you're home, and then you probably have one when you're in house. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when you're on the road, maybe, who knows? Maybe you have one for each city. I don't know. But the bottom line is, like Philly Talk says, you never switch up your barber. And I'm a firm believer that you never switch up your masseuse.
Yo, Jonathan, you and me are on the same wavelengths. I'm not saying it's going to happen because I do think Jamie Newman has a lot, he's got a long ways to go still to be that guy. But, man, I've been high on Jamie Newman since, day one. I'm gonna mute you for 1 second in this Southwest, all right? That's been one of the crazy things. You look at him and going undrafted. And I will admit, guys, his film got complex because when you really looked at what happened when like Sage Surratt left the game at Wake Forest, he wasn't quite the same, but all the physical skill set was still there. Just he didn't have the high end production from a really good receiver. Yeah. The Georgia thing, opting out of the Georgia game, I think that hurt him. I think that hurt him a lot because, man, if he would have played really well at Georgia, you're probably talking about a Kellen Mond level like evaluation to the young man. Like different football players. Kellen Mond's a little bit more on time, a little faster of a processor. Jamie Newman probably a little more of a bigger arm, although Kellen Mond I think has a pretty good arm as well. But still, I mean, like I'm high on Jamie Newman. I think Jamie Newman is like the perfect backup for what you need if you're going to go forward with Jalen Hurts. Like that's exactly the guy you want because you're not going to skip a beat. You're going to skip a beat because there's going to be a difference in talent. You guys, I'm not saying that, but you're not going to skip a beat in terms of what you can do from a play calling standpoint. Like as long as they both have adequate knowledge over the system and what you want and where the read's supposed to be, they got pretty similar athletic capabilities. I mean, Newman's got a better arm. Jalen's a little bit better outside the pocket, but I feel comfortable with either one of those guys if I had to go forward with them. And like, I was really happy, man. That made my day, man. When I saw the comment section, everybody was like, yo, Gate, they signed Jamie Newman. Man, I started doing a car.
Gates was excited. I saw that video Gates made about Jamie Newman. I just saw my man couldn't stop smiling, man.
No doubt. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, hey, Newman, that's a great addition to this team. I mean, if y'all really ask me honestly, you know, whether it's Flacco or Newman, I don't want to see neither one of them. Let's go put that on record because if we see him back up, gang, we got a problem in Philadelphia. So, I mean, the only reason why I'm really a fan of the Newman pick, you know, I don't expect to see him getting a whole bunch of playing time. Let's get that straight. But long term down the road, I believe this is somebody that we can develop. And looking at that in a trade pack or, you know, possibly trading him down the road. My goal is hopefully Jalen Hurts takes full control of this team this year. There ain't no question beyond, you know, who's the starter and all that. And we could probably flip Newman for, you know, possibly a draft pick. We got him undrafted. So I love that pick just for that value alone. But again, I don't want to see Newman. I don't want to see Flacco. Only time I want to see them is holding the clipboard or, you know, hey, giving some good practice reps to our secondary practice squad players. So that's where I'm at on it, fellas.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, just with Jamie Newman, I was shocked that we got him in undrafted free agency. I really thought he was going to be like at least the 5th or 6th round pick. Like you said, Gates, like he has the frame for the position. He's athletic. He's the perfect guy you want if Jalen Hurts goes down, and he's got the arm talent too. It's just a lot of it's with processing, you know, making sure he's like confirming what he's seeing post snap and all that. Versus where obviously Joe Flacco, he's been in the league for so long that he's seen just about everything from a coverage standpoint. He's a good processor. Like he knows all that stuff. But I think it's the perfect guy to develop as your third quarterback. I was shocked again that he fell, and just to have him fall into our laps, it's the perfect guy to develop as a third guy. And again, like Notion said, like if he does well enough, if you see him in preseason, maybe he gets on the field a little bit and looks half decent. Like a Jacoby Brissett, like how they flipped him, maybe we can flip him for a little bit. And I think there's been a few Jacoby Brissett comparisons, but I can't really compare their play styles. I haven't watched enough of Jamie, but just from what I've seen, I think we could definitely possibly get something out of him. And I'm excited to see, hopefully we get a preseason because I'm excited to see him play.
For sure. I agree with you. I really want to see Jamie Newman play. I really want to see these. You know, I can't wait to see what these wide receivers are looking like, man. The competition is going to be astronomical. I'm so excited about this wide receiver and running back room, man. I really can't wait to see guys like Teron Grimes, you know, fight for their keep. I can't wait to see guys like Jamon Osborne, earn their keep. John Hightower, Quez Watkins. I really want to see. You know, I'll be honest with you. I'm really eager to see Travis Fulgham and Quez Watkins develop. I know the obvious guys are Jalen Reagor, Devontae Smith. You know, we know what he's going to do. But I'm really eager to see Travis Fulgham and Quez Watkins take their game to a higher level because I feel like Quez Watkins and Travis Fulgham have a real strong chance to be very dynamic. Like that's what I believe.
So you want to get in on this one, the Nest Out West? What do you think, man? What do you think about the Jamie Newman signing and Hurts and all that?
I agree with you guys. I think he's a good backup. I think he could easily replace Flacco as a backup to Hurts. I was very surprised. A lot of talent fell because of COVID, and Jamie Newman was just another one of those. He was if I'm not mistaken, he was a top 10 overall talent going into last year, even top 5 quarterback talent. So, I think the biggest issue on this kid is his ball placement, but hopefully we don't even have to worry about that. Like Notion said, it's Hurts season, baby. And I'm glad we got Jamie Newman. I think he's, we could be develop into a very good player in this league. But that's my take on him, definitely.
So I think this is a great question, Nikki. This is a really, really good question. I want to get everyone's opinion on this because I think this is a tough evaluation. So Nikki wants to know, how well does Hurts have to play to be handed the keys long term? Excellent question.
So I'll kick it off. It's definitely, of course, we have to see progress from last year's record, but I would say having some kind of a positive winning season. So I think we play 17 games this year. So at least going 9-8. I think that, you know what I'm saying? I think that would give this team enough security to say, hey, we have a building block, that we could actually build off of Jalen Hurts. If we see a performance, where it's like 7-10, we might possibly be looking back in the draft, in my opinion. So I think anything above a positive winning record will give this team confidence to at least give him an opportunity to hopefully get better. That's what I want to see.
For me, and I'll keep it short and sweet, a division crown and or a wild card appearance.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. That's what I would like, and I believe that's what it would take for him to be given the keys long term. Because again, this roster is far from complete in terms of development, in terms of what we think is a Super Bowl level, a Super Bowl caliber roster, right? We're very far off. But if he can somehow deliver a division crown or a wild card appearance, I think that guy deserves a shot to be here long term. I think he deserves to be the QB1, going forward for however many years that'll be. You never know what may happen, but I believe if he delivers a division crown or a wild card appearance, give that man the keys, like that.
Flowers, yes, sir.
For me, I think it's tough to evaluate. I just think with wins and losses, it depends on how we lose those games. It depends how the scheme works out because it's going to be a new scheme he has to learn this year. It depends what injuries hit and all that. Obviously, we can't tell. So just going off of what we see right now, I just want to see on a week-to-week basis, just evaluate him and see just little pieces of development each week. And then my hope for him is that the last 4, 5, 6 games of the season, he just really starts to click and just turn things on. So as long as he gets a little comfortable at the beginning of the season, manages through what's probably going to be some tough games and then starts to really catch fire at the end of the season, I think getting that momentum going into year 3 is what I want to see for him, even if we don't get a playoff spot. And just to see him develop a rapport with all the other receivers and just develop some chemistry with them. And hopefully just to start processing a little quicker pre-snap and post-snap. Those are the things that I just want to see with him going forward, and not like bailing out of the pocket too early too. If he can work on a few of those things, I think that'll be good.
Good point, Hunter.
Hey,
thanks.
That's a good one. Shout out Jalen in the building, yes sir.
Yeah, for me, for Hurts, in my opinion, to be handed the keys. I'm not the one to be handing them the keys. So, Howie and the front office and Jeffrey Lurie are going to be the ones handing him the keys. So to me, they hold that bar pretty high. So, I think he would have to have 30 touchdowns and an overall, he's going to have 3 times the amount of touchdowns than overall turnovers. So if he has 3 interceptions and if he has 7 interceptions and 3 fumbles, but it has 30 touchdowns, then I think they'll hand him the keys.
I'll give you guys a cautionary tale that scares me. There was a quarterback one time who played on a really bad football team that was in the midst of being rebuilt. It was the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay? This quarterback would go on to hoist the Lombardi. Does anyone know who I'm talking about yet?
Brad Johnson.
Nope.
On the
He's
Tampa
older
Bay
than Brad.
Bucks?
He started his career with Tampa Bay, and he hoisted a Lombardi with another team.
I need some help, chat.
Steve
Y'all drop
Young.
it in the chat. Where the knowledge at? Let us
Steve
know
Young.
in the chat.
Steve Young.
Somebody said it on the panel. Steve Young. Steve Young, his first year.
Yeah.
Steve Young his rookie year played 5 games and went 1-4, guys. He was 72 of 138 with a 52% completion rate. Does it sound like anyone we know?
Well, yeah, most definitely.
All right.
Jalen
So
Hurts,
listen,
baby.
comes back in 86, starts 14 games for the Bucks. He's clearly their starting quarterback. They go 2-12 with him in the games. He's 195 of 363, 53.7% completion rate, right? 8 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. After that, he gets traded to San Francisco and the rest of history. You just don't know off of that short amount of sample. Like, dudes grow. And look, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is Steve Young. Please don't confuse what I'm saying, guys. I would never insinuate something like that. But I'm saying these mistakes get made in the league, okay? And that's why we try to tell people, because they misunderstand what I say about Jalen Hurts. I can tell you where his current development stands. I can tell you that he's not, from his film last year, a very nuanced quarterback yet. He doesn't necessarily understand the reads right yet. But I can't tell you what the young man's going to be. I can't tell you how his career is going to go.
Until your
way
point,
too early.
Until your good point about it being too early.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line is, this is the perfect time to find out what he can be. It's not like this team is ready to go all the way. This is the perfect arena to find out what he can do and how he can grow. You let him play out his rookie deal. He has, so including 2021, 3 years left. 3 years left. By his 4th year, you're going to start to see that development. I feel like you give him the key. I feel like don't rush. You got these 3 first-round picks. You got all the assets. Just relax. Let Hurts drive this vehicle for the next 3 years, and then at that point, that you'll decide if you want to extend him or not and keep him. I'm telling you, at that point, you'll know if he's the real deal or not. Like you said, the Steve Young example. He had a bad couple years in Tampa. Then made it to he probably got his way to San Fran, and the rest was history. He has to develop. He has to learn the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, some guys aren't just going to come in right off the bat just gunslinging. It's just not how it works all the time. Guys need to learn. So I'm with you on that, Gates. I believe let this guy be the guy for however long he needs to be.
And this is why I love my guy Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams knew who I was talking about. I guarantee you. But he's bringing up a point. We don't know if this guy's going to be Josh Freeman, and we don't know if this guy's going to be Steve Young. We have no clue. We don't know. This season is going to tell you. I don't know. This season's going to tell you.
Hey, that's true. I see Vic over here too. Salute to my guy talking about some Hurts reminding me of another second-round quarterback who wanted to take the reins. Anybody remember Kevin Cobb? Oh no!
Oh yeah! Man.
Oh no!
Man, that was Kevin Corn Cobb, bro. That dude, man.
Kevin Cobb.
No, I just
only really Reed could find these dudes.
I'm trying to. Jalen Hurts. He's just honestly, just the way he's attacking this. It was really disturbing, everybody, to watch the disgust on his face when he knew he had to be a part of that national tankathon that we put on the last game of the season. You can see how dejected he was on the bench. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't wait to see his response from that. If y'all really think Jalen Hurts was feeling that, wait until y'all see this man light up the field next. Because the way he's already just actively gathering receivers, throwing around, his work ethic is second to none. So, yes, I'm hoping for the Steve Youngs. Hey, I'm going to tell y'all right now, because Josh Freeman, Kevin Cobb ain't going to cut it. And, I see a different drive from Jalen. So, I'm just hoping he's straight with, I hope he brings it this year.
I believe Hurts is the type of guy that he's not okay with mediocrity. He's not okay. He's not. I can just tell. Like you said, Notion, his face, he looked completely disgusted. He don't come from that. He played in Alabama and played in Oklahoma. Those are two well-respected programs in college football. He's not settling for mediocrity on any level as the starting quarterback. He's not settling with it. He's not settling for it within himself, and he's damn sure not going to settle for it. Amongst his teammates. I firmly believe his mentality, just the way he approaches the game, is going to rub off on all these guys, and all these guys are going to play above their pay grade.
And there's another guy I was going to bring up, but I hate saying these guys because people think we're saying they're them. Like, come on, man. The guy I'm about to name is a completely different style quarterback, but Brett Favre. Brett Favre got exactly 4 attempts with Atlanta before they said, send him to Green Bay.
He said exactly 4 attempts.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got to be so careful with these things because I don't know how good he is. I don't know that this season's going to really tell us the exact answer. It's tough, man. I mean, it's a real tough assessment. I'll tell you this. I'm glad I don't have to make this assessment based upon just this year and 4 games. And then knowing I got 3 first-round picks potentially, because we don't know the issue with the whole pick in Indianapolis yet, but potentially 3 first-round picks. I mean, it just heightens the situation and makes it to where it's like you feel comfortable, but at the same time, it also might make you feel like you got to force your hand when you don't need to either. And that's a tough situation, man. Yeah, Vic's talking about Drew Brees. Drew Brees played for a little while with San Diego. Yeah. Drew Brees was even funny because Drew Brees recaptured some of the magic after they drafted Phillip Rivers. And then they were really stuck with that weird decision of like, well, we know we're going to play Phillip Rivers, so where does that leave us? My man went to the Saints.
If I could just
chime in. Became legendary.
If I could just chime in on the one comment here too that says every NFL pro has good work ethic. I strongly disagree with that. I don't think that's the case at all. I think there's plenty of guys who are just there to get their bag for one. And I don't think that should be used. Yes, a lot of them have good work ethic, but I don't think that should be used to discredit what Jalen Hurts is doing right now with his teammates and, the culture she's come from at Alabama being just a straight down to business culture. Like, we're here to win, and that's why you've been brought in here, nothing else. And just Oklahoma, kind of the same mentality over there with Lincoln Riley. So I think, you look at Hurts, the culture she's come from, just the work ethics he's putting in is second to none. And I think, again, like, he's a man on a mission right now, and he's going above and beyond what a lot of guys are doing. He's probably one of those guys just like in the film room till 3 a.m. every night, and then getting a little sleep, and then back to the grind every single day. So I'd have to really disagree with that comment.
Yeah, and Hunter, just bouncing off of that, if I don't know who said that comment, but if that was the case, then why do we have guys like Jamarcus Russell?
Yeah, exactly. The VHS tape or the cassette tapes or whatever it was.
Yeah. You can't just say, oh, every professional athlete or every NFL player works hard. That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. Guys coming overweight, guys coming out of shape. You guys don't remember Cheeseburger Eddie, the running back for the Packers?
Eddie Lacy.
Come on now. Like, I think that's entirely unfair to discount what he's been doing in the offseason, just saying, oh yeah, everyone works hard. That's not the case.
Right.
It's a career, it's a job like anything else. There's a bunch of guys in the office building. Everyone doesn't work as hard as the next person. It's just facts. There's a pecking order. There's a pecking order for a reason. There's a hierarchy for a reason. People get promotions, and some people stay in the mailroom for a reason.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, look, work ethic is tough because I think most average NFL players have a much higher work ethic than the average person, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily all even keeled across the board as NFL players in terms of their work ethic. I'll say this, man, like I don't know where you go with the Jalen Hurts thing, just because like it just seems like a really unfair predicament to put him in to begin with, just because like why draft him if this was going to be the result? It just doesn't make sense. Like, either give the guy his due or don't. It just seems like I don't know. I don't know how they get themselves out of this and it looks cleanly. The only way they get themselves out of it is if Hurts balls out this year and they go, yeah, see, told you we were on to something, when the whole time, back behind the scenes they were panicking. Like, I don't know how else you could do it. Yeah, I mean, it's just the truth. My guy Richie MC with the $2 super chat said, Carson out. Is McNabb now number 1 in Eagles lore again? I don't think he ever lost it, in my opinion. Now, maybe some guys that were part of the, I don't know, going back to like the old school days and, maybe I don't know, Dick Vermeil and those guys. Like maybe they will remember those guys more as Ron Jaworski's. I don't know. I mean, that's a little bit too far back for me. I would say that to me, McNabb will always be, because of the age I grew up in, what I saw him and Andy Reid elevate the Eagles to. Because I mean, look, let's be real. We weren't a great organization for a long time until those two men came into Philadelphia. But I will say that, look, Carson Wentz will always be one of the more talented players I've watched in an Eagles uniform. When he was really on, it was on. He was kind of like Cunningham. I think Cunningham and him are kind of debatable, and I think Cunningham's probably the more overall. I mean, Cunningham did things you just didn't see people do. I mean, my man was jumping over people who were standing up. Like, there's only so many people in the world that can do that. Like, he's one of them. Like, but yeah, I mean, I think McNabb is clearly, in my opinion, I mean, maybe you guys differ with me, but I don't think it's even a competition. McNabb is definitely number one in Eagles lore.
And real quick, I want to say one more thing about work ethic. One more thing before we start the transition. Anthony Perry said Mike Vick even admitted he didn't watch film like he should have. Now, there's levels to working hard. You can be a gym rat, but you don't watch film like that. You can watch film all the time, but you don't really take care of your mentals and your body. So there's levels to working out. I'm sorry. There's levels to work ethic. There's variations, and I'm never one to really come for guys. I don't like going after a guy's heart. I can't measure that. I don't like going after a guy's pocket. I'm not really a pocket watcher. You know what I'm saying? But there is a such thing as guys getting their money and relaxing. There's a such thing as guys going to do something off the field, and it's affecting how they play on the field. So like there are so many variables when it comes to just having great work ethic and just being the ultimate competitor, being the ultimate performer on the football field. But I just believe, Jalen Hurts is showing me he's checking all the boxes that he's not only putting in the work on the field, but he's putting in the work off the field, and he has the mentals to survive in Philadelphia. That's the thing that's not being talked about enough. Philadelphia is such a cutthroat city. Anybody can't play here. I'm sorry. It's not somewhere you could just plug and play. You have to have a certain mentality, a certain a certain desire to play here. Me and Gates was talking about it a while ago when we did his interview series. We are willing to accept losing if you leave your blood, sweat, and tears and everything on the field, on the court, on the pitch. We're willing to listen. Allen Iverson, shout out to the Sixers. Allen Iverson, he took us to one NBA Finals, just one. But think about what he did. He dragged a mediocre Sixers roster to the finals and beat the Lakers in game one. But the Lakers turned it on game 2, 3, 4, and 5. But the bottom line is there's levels to it, and we are a type of city that if you just give us your everything, we ain't got no choice but to say, you know what? He left it out there. That's why the whole Josh McCown thing in the playoffs with the Seahawks at one time. It was a rough loss, but we weren't really dogging him because that man clearly left it out there, tore the tissue off of his damn hamstring. It's like there's levels to this thing, man. And we will always respect the guy for just giving us his all any and every day of the week and showing passion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man, because this isn't a city for every player. I mean, we all know that. Like, you got to be able to endure and love the tears and the boos equally.
Yeah,
you got to
have
young.
Yeah,
like we
got to know that
it's plenty of just prime talent. We ran a Hall of Fame great coach, Andy Reid, up out of here. I'm just saying, just overall, we know, work ethic, like my guy Tone said, it comes in different aspects, and I mean, I do believe Jalen Hurts, he just has that naturally in his DNA just because, I mean, he's been counted out so much. So you're just seeing him, step up to the plate. I believe, again, not everybody has that same work ethic. There's been plenty of people, like I said, that's just been mentioned up here. And as you can see, it ain't the same with everybody. But again, when you do put in that good work ethic, you normally get results. But like my guy Tone said, hey, the results ain't always got to be flawless just to display some good work ethic. Shout out to my guy AI also. Listen, y'all know I ain't the biggest Sixers fan on here. But again, that is my best favorite player basketball of all time. But at the same time, yes. Look, I mean, even he had questionable work ethic. He came on a live thing talking about practice one time. So listen, what translates in different, yeah, bro. He just said it. I'm not practicing. Take that work ethic where it needs to be. So again, work ethic comes in all different forms. I believe Jalen Hurts. I don't even see him being one of those type of rah-rah leader guys on this team. Just a real vocal, but he displays his actions. I mean, you can see his work ethic. It's transparent in Philadelphia. So again, I'm pulling for this kid. This kid makes me excited. So I just want to see this man go out there, straight hungry and go out here and eat his fruit on the field. So that's how I'm feeling with it.
If I'm understanding Jalen correctly, I think he's, just to respond to his question, I think he's saying, hey, Tone, you don't think that can be a bad thing that everyone can't play in the city? If that is his question, it definitely is a gift and a curse, without a doubt. I definitely don't think it's a healthy way of approaching, fandom, but at the same time, being born and raised in Philly, man, it's like, just speaking for myself, if I see a guy that's just giving it his all, I can live with the results. I can, I'll just leave it at that.
So real quick though, because I know that comment was about the McNabb real quick, but like we ain't giving McNabb no respect in a sense because he did say that Carson wasn't going to be nothing on this team. I mean, not necessarily nothing, but hey, McNabb pretty much called Carson Wentz out. We see where Carson's at now. I mean, I guess McNabb's back up at the number one.
And Jalen, knowing where you're at, man, I don't know if you ever got a chance to go up there, but AI played at Bethel High School up in Hampton. And then the Vicks played at Warwick High. When I was in the service, Jalen, I went up there and talked to the coaching staffs of both of them. And that's where I was telling you, I heard about those rumors about AI being a quarterback. That's where I heard all the rumors about how good he was and stuff. Like, just folklore about Allen Iverson, bro. That'd be a whole, we could spend an entire hour on that. On the real.
I want to ask you guys something
what's up,
real quick, though.
How you doing, buddy?
What was –
Shout out to LB, man. The GOAT.
LB in the building. The GOAT. Yes, sir.
LB, man. But next time, what? Philly Foothills, you had a question or something like that?
Yeah, I want to know what you guys think. What was going through, what made Jerry trade back with us? What was the thought process behind them not, basically handing us Devontae Smith and not wanting him to go to the Giants? What was the thought process behind that with Jerry and the Cowboys?
I mean, I'll tell you my opinion real quick, man. I think he said the Giants, I'm about to give it to you with no lube. That's exactly what he did. I'll let y'all go ahead and go on that one.
Hey, Indeed, I ain't even mad at that. Listen, I do think, there had to be some kind of, confirmed conspiracy between Howie and Jerry. Again, I don't know, because there's no way y'all could tell me, because Howie had a plan coming into this draft. I think they had already talked with the Cowboys potentially to say, hey, listen, if we got to trade up with you, what's it going to take? What's the cost? With the conditions that the Cowboys, hey, listen, they won in that sense also, in my opinion. Parsons is a great talent, so it ain't like they, did themselves just no kind of favor in the deal. They also picked up a third rounder. I mean, it is what it is. But the Giants, them boys got rolled all the way over. Straight smackdown. Hey, listen. Hey, first we gave them the business. We're not making the playoffs. Salute to that. What, y'all really thought y'all was getting Devontae? Psych. No, y'all ain't. Y'all can go ahead and take, second round draft pick should have been Kadarius Toney. He's going to be a talent also, but he ain't no Devontae Smith. So I'm loving all of it, fellas.
Yeah, for sure. I just think I think it's pretty simple. The Cowboys didn't need a wide receiver at all, and also the top two corners came off the board. So, we pretty much. I think both the Eagles and the Cowboys wanted one of those corners. But in the end, they both came with the board and they say, hey, listen, neither of our guys are there. We don't need a wide receiver. So what are you willing to give up, to jump these Giants? We could care less about what they need. So what do what are you guys willing to give up? So I really think it just came down to the fact that, Jerry didn't need a wide receiver. He knew for a fact Micah Parsons was probably going to be there at 12. Let me see if I can get something for it. And it's as simple as that. Hunter.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say the exact same thing, Tone. I mean, once Surtain went off the board, I think the Cowboys got kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say caught with their pants down, but they didn't get the guy they wanted, but they still had a plan B with Micah Parsons, and they said, hey, why don't we screw the Giants over while we're at it, get our guy, and go back to 12, and pick up Micah Parsons anyway. So I don't know. I'm still confused as to why they wanted us to get Devontae, but hey, I mean, they got Kelvin Joseph in round 2 anyway, who I think that was a great pick for them. So I still think they made out pretty well, but yeah, I would just echo what you guys both said. So I didn't have anything else to add.
My guy Lord Brunson coming in with the $1.99 super chat said Jerry didn't need a wide receiver, but gladly took that 3rd round pick, 100% LB.
Yes,
then he had to come get me. He had to come get me and say Gates is on that yak. Hey, hey, I got my guys here carrying it for me.
The head dog.
Yes, sir.
Oh man!
I gotta carry Mike's mantle, bro. I gotta carry Mike's mantle.
Shout out to LB and Gates, man, for real. Like those guys really are heavy hitters in this game, man.
Absolutely,
my guy, man.
Dave Burns, man. I gotta know, Gates, because again, like I said, like I know, our running back room right now, we getting a lot of talent, right? Do you really think this is the year? Are we really going to be running the ball this year? I'm so excited for that game.
Listen. Hey, Notion. They cutting Adrian Killins, bro.
Bro, hey, Adrian Killins is making this roster. The first person that's going to get axed, I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's probably going to be Boston Scott before Adrian Killins. So y'all heard it here. Adrian Killins is taking Boston Scott's spot. Nah, it's a long stretch. I believe it. Hey, I know it's a long stretch. What we got, like 9 running backs on the team right now, I think?
No, it's a good amount. That's a good amount. I think it's about like 6, 7, something like that.
Man, I dropped a quick, y'all know how I feel on Killins. I dropped me a little something, trying to plead my case with my running backs.
I'm with you.
I made the whole video and I left Corey Clement off the clip. So that just tells you right there, we got so many players that probably ain't gonna make it. I feel bad, hey, the competition is great, but again, I want the best product on the field, so that's all I want to see, plain and period.
I agree.
Hey, still free agent, right?
While we got a moment here, guys, hang on, give me 1 second. While we got a moment here, I got my guy Dave Dust in the comment section. If y'all don't know who Dave Dust is, some of y'all that keep hitting me up want to know, like, Gabe, who is the dude that is making them shoes, bro, that you be showing us?
Sneaker King alert.
Dave Dust,
there it
bro.
is.
That's the customization dude, man. Listen, that dude is fire with a pen in his hand, man. If y'all ain't got a chance yet, go look at one of my videos. Go look at the links down in the description, and you can see the customization he does, and you can enter the raffle, man. This dude, man, I'm telling you, my man got real talent. He don't got the Gate City talent where you just get to talk to people like you. Like, he got to actually put work in.
Yes,
Oh man, shout out to Dave Dust, man. Yo, I saw the promo you guys were doing with those Eagle sneaks, the Eagles Air Force Ones. Man, those things, those are lit, man, for sure. So shout out to Dave Dust, man, doing big things.
Hey, bro, LB, bro, I'm wilding right now, bro. Hey, yeah, we gonna celebrate in celebration. Holyfield ain't making the cut, bro. But yeah, we gonna yak it up once Killins makes this roster. You already know.
Hey, we might as well, bro. We might as well get it for Killins right now while we can, bro. Hang on.
Hey, listen, you got me. Better go get some of that yak, man. Yo, don't turn me up, Gates. Don't turn me up, dude. It's an interesting year. I want to pick you guys' brains a little bit. Who do you guys think will be because I think the roster is going to expand, right? Because of the 17 games, the roster is supposed to expand, correct?
That's a good question. Someone asked that earlier, and I completely forgot to circle back to it.
Yeah.
Tone, good job, bro. You brought us right back to it on this one.
Gotcha.
That is a really good question because one would think, man, the 55-man roster thing last year, we could call up people from the practice squad. That worked really well. So, like, I think that they should keep implementing and shaping it. What were you saying, Foothills? I think Philly Foothills was giving us the,
I think
the
it's going
amount
to be 60. I've heard it's going to be expanded to 60.
to 60. So yeah, I mean, look, if it expands to 60, then I still got to go with my guy LB though, man. We're gonna have to pour some yak for Killins and Holyfield, my guy.
Yeah, man. To me, I think if let's just say we go with 4 running backs, let's just say we just 4 running backs on week 1, right? I believe it's obviously going to be Miles Sanders. I think Jordan Howard's going to make it, barring the shoulders. Okay. Kenneth Gainwell, and then at that point, our man Kerryon Johnson, if he can stay healthy as well. Jordan Howard and Kerryon Johnson are a health. If they guys can stay healthy, I think they make the top 4 running backs. If we just 4. But I definitely believe. I'm telling you, man, Kenneth Gainwell is coming for guys' spots, man. He's coming for guys' spots, and we talked about this a little off before we got on live. The whole concept, and I think before Hunter got here as well. Miles Sanders is going to be due a paycheck pretty soon. He's entering his 3rd season. He doesn't have a 5th-year option, so 9 times out of 10, either we're going to get a deal done next off season, or we're going to be working out a deal, and during his fourth year in the league. How do you guys see that progressing? How do you guys see that playing out? Do you see them trying to extend Miles Sanders? Do you see him, not trying to go the route of trying to get the biggest deal, because Miles Sanders, he's a good running back, but he's not top 3, he's not top 5, So it's like, how do we see this playing out? And you just kick it off with Jalen Williams said, I don't think Boston Scott's good on special teams. Like that's just my opinion. Same thing with Greg Ward. That's another conversation. But how do you guys see the running back situation playing out? With the top, with the top 4 running backs, and also with the Miles Sanders contract, starting to appear. Do you guys see Kenneth Gainwell potentially? If he does well, will they still feel the need to extend Miles Sanders? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I can start with just my 4 running backs. I love that you brought up Kenny Gainwell. I was super hyped. I cannot believe he fell to pick 150. I was shocked. I mean, this is a guy who played in the Wildcat a lot at Memphis just to try to get the ball into his hands. He was a slot receiver. He's so elusive. His lateral quickness is just insane, just how he cuts across the field and just, makes one cut and then he's gone. He's very patient, great vision. I mean, the only knock that I can really have on this guy is that, maybe he's a little bit smaller, but I really think he reminds me so much of a Nyheim Hines, and I think Sirianni is going to implement him into the offense that way, and just as a decoy sometimes on that little swing pass or a bubble, like fake bubble screen, stuff like that. Even just getting the ball into his hands on jet sweeps. So I'm hype about Kenneth Gainwell, and I'm hyped that you mentioned him, Tone. I also think just how strong he is, even for being 5'8", he's 201. Like that dude bounces off of people, and I mean, even at the combine when he tested with bench reps, I mean, he showed his strength there too. But it's just contact balance is unreal. So I'm really excited about him. To answer your question, can he be the guy in a few years with Miles Sanders and all that? It is tough because with the running back position today, it's just like you just don't know with running backs right now with injuries and all that. I mean, obviously Todd Gurley's like the main one that comes to mind because of the arthritis situation and all that. That was definitely a little bit weird just because I don't know how many running backs have gotten arthritis and just gone downhill like that so quickly. And he didn't even go like that far downhill, but obviously in the cold weather or like an environment that's not suited for his arthritis, it can act up. That's something you cannot control. It just depends on the environment you're in. So the running back position, I think, has probably been affected by that from a contract standpoint. So it's going to be tough. I think Miles, I do think you keep him around. I just think he's just so electric. He's so good as a runner receiver. And I really think, last year I think he had some mishaps in pass protection, but I do think he can be a good pass protecting back. And I just think because of his all-around game and what he brings to the table and what the new coaching staff, I think, can bring out of him that I felt like wasn't brought out last year, that we kind of saw in his rookie year, but didn't really, continue in his sophomore year. I think they're going to get back to that. And I think he just loves it here. Obviously we can't read what he's feeling, but I do think he really wants to be here. So I do think they'll bring him back, and I do think he wants to come back. But to answer the rest of your question, as for the other two running backs, I think Carry-On will probably make it, even with the injuries. He's kind of filled that Corey Clement role as the third back, but he's such a better pass protector than Corey Clement was. I'm glad we don't have to watch Corey pass protect anymore. And then after that, I would have to agree, probably Jordan Howard just off of experience, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jason Huntley get it. I think he's another Swiss Army knife. If anything happens to Gainwell, I think he can maybe make something happen too. But off of experience, Jordan Howard, they brought him back on a 1-year deal. I think they might give it to him. Who knows? If the roster's expanded, maybe they keep Huntley as a 5th guy. But yeah, Boston Scott, I'm on the same page. I don't think he's a good special teamer. I think he's a solid backup who, if you need someone to just be a body and fill in, he's solid. He can fire blockers. He can do what you need. But yeah, that's pretty much the long-winded answer to your whole question.
And when we're playing the Giants, Hunter, we need Boston.
Just to piggyback real quick, Hunter, and just to piggyback off your response about Miles Sanders, let's be real. This season, Miles Sanders, if he would have stayed healthy all year, because he only played 12 games, if he would have stayed healthy all year, he would have smashed his rookie. He would have smashed his rookie rushing yards. He would have. I think he had only maybe 10 or 20 yards less than he did his first season, and he played significantly less games. So just think about
average 13 snaps, 13 carries a game, or something like that. So
right. So I am in the vein that I do love Miles Sanders, and I want him to be here for an extended period of time. But the NFL doesn't love running backs. But I'll toss my question over to Notion and the Nest Out West and Gate City.
All right, I'll kick this one off, and then, what I'm saying, because I agree with 2 of these players on this list that y'all mentioned, but I got some different opinions, and let me go and dish it out. So y'all know what it is. All right, so of course, Miles Sanders, undisputed, I think, #1 running back on his team, but don't get it twisted, everybody. I do think, because, yes, he does have a payday coming up, I don't think we're making him no top-paid running back, or if that's the kind of money he's asking. So if he comes at the Eagles, wanting to be the top highest paid running back in the league, oh yeah, we might be moving on with Gaineswell next. So I believe Miles Sanders will, of course he's going to be on the roster. Kenneth Gaineswell, here's why I have a little different of opinion. I believe Kerryon Johnson's going to make this team, and Jordan Howard ain't. And then next, for more cost purposes, for savings wise, because I do believe, Boston Scott, he was a huge contribution on this team. He brings a different type of a change of pace. But again, he ain't contribute nothing on special teams. And I think his price tag is going to be a little higher than somebody like Adrian Killins. Y'all know what it is. That's my 4th running back making this team. So I got Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Kerryon Johnson, Adrian Killins. And if we got a 5th, we might hold on to Boston Scott just for the Giants purposes. So that's how I see my running back room loading up. But again, I look at all of this running backs, that's one of the most highest, if not the highest contact position. Every time you touch the ball, somebody's trying to smack you. So the shelf life for running backs, we know, is not great. I just hope Miles Sanders ain't asking for no, I hope he takes a team-friendly deal, because if it ain't team-friendly, I ain't going to be shocked, and I'm bracing for it now. Miles Sanders might get traded up out of here. I hope that ain't the case. But again, I wouldn't be shocked just because of how running backs are valued in this league. And that's my thoughts. Right now. But Adrian Killins, let me go remind y'all, is making his roster.
This guy, man. This guy with AK-46, man. So I'll give you my perspective on it, and I'll say this: none of these dudes outside of Miles Sanders, I don't feel like are locks, and that includes our 5th round pick. Even though I'm really high on Gainwell, he's not a lock. What I will say is that if Jordan Howard has anything left in the tank, I think he's clearly the next most talented back. I just don't know if there's anything left in the tank. I don't know. I know that you need a guy that could truly be a #1 if something happens. And I know that Jordan Howard, if healthy, can be that guy. But like I said, I can't project health, guys. I'm not Doogie Howser. We might be the same color. We got different color hair. We got, what I'm saying? Like, ain't Doogie Howser, bro. I don't know how to project that, unfortunately.
So, was he injured in Miami though? Like, why didn't he play? Like, what was the reason?
That was so weird. They only gave him goal line touches and short yardage, I think.
Yeah, I think he was just
on reports.
Yeah, I think he was a horrible scheme fit in Miami, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you go past
was.
that, then I think you have a lot of guys that do the same thing, right? Jason Huntley, right? I mean, just look at the list of guys: AK-46, Jason Huntley. You go look at Kerryon Johnson, who's a little bigger of a back. I mean, he could probably be a little bit more like a Gainwell, but Kenneth Gainwell kind of, they all kind of lump around that way. I will say that Gainwell and Kerryon Johnson are a little bit bigger, probably could be a little bit more, could probably take the wear and tear a little bit more of an NFL season. But then you get to Boston Scott, and you got an experienced receiving back. You got a kid who can play special teams. Now, look, I'm not saying we don't need to upgrade over that man taking punt, snap, kickoff. Like, my man is like, it's just not for him. I mean, that's like an emergency situation. But, I will say this, man. He's a good goal line running back. That dude is really good on the goal line. I don't know why it works. It just works for him on the goal line. I could see him having a role, but I also don't think that I don't think any of these guys are like real locks. But if I had to take a guess, I think it's going to probably be Howard, unless he's not healthy, will be your 2. I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be your 3. And then I think it's a toss-up in the air between who your 4th is. And I didn't even mention my guy from Georgia, the upright runner, powerhouse himself. Mama said knock you out. I didn't even mention my guy, man. But what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely then I think there's like 3 or 4 dudes fighting to be the 4th running back. But the key is if Philly Foothills is right and the roster expands to 60 players, you might have a 5th running back. That's very possible. I don't know. I mean, I would think that they probably feel somewhat secure at 4, but maybe they go 5 running backs because we know running backs are going to be used in this scheme. And I think someone tell me in the comments section, Kerryon Johnson has knee issues, right? I'm not mistaken there, right? He had knee issues, right?
He tore
knee surgery in 2019.
2019, yep.
Yeah, so I'm not you know what I mean? Like all these dudes, like, Jordan Howard still day to day from 2019. Kerryon Johnson tore his knee up in 2019. Like, who knows, man? This running back room, I love the fact that they didn't stay complacent and they just kept trying to add. But I don't know that it's solidified. But to get back to the main topic, which was, should we extend Miles Sanders? It depends on what he's asking for. I mean, that's really the key, right? I don't have a problem with making Miles Sanders a top 10, top 12 paid running back. But if we're talking like top 3, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough conversation. He's going to have to really, he better show me some Shady McCoy this season. That's all I can say.
Right, that's all you can say, and that's the thing. And Miles Sanders, he's shown that he can be productive on a bad team in a bad situation. He broke off more 70+ yard runs in his sophomore season than he did in his first season. Like, he was just somehow, some way, he's starting to see the gaps way better. He's starting to develop really into a really great running back. But like you said, I wouldn't mind making him a top 10 paid, top 12 paid running back. And again, it all depends on how this thing plays out. How much money we're working with in the cap. I don't want to lock up too much money in the running back room because I just know that in this NFL, it's you need to have that 1-2 punch with your running back room. That 1-2, maybe three punch. No one, the bell cow thing doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't. You need to have that rotation of guys. Because different guys do different things, and then in different situations, you want a guy that can probably catch the ball better. It's just different situations that call for different players. And like I said, the bell cow thing isn't working anymore, man. Why do you think, the Cowboys are regretting that Ezekiel Elliott contract so much? Because they paid him like a bell cow, and then all of a sudden, a guy like Tony Pollard, a guy like Pollard was looking better than him. And I believe Pollard was he a Memphis running back as well?
Yep, he was.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Those Memphis boys, man, and like I said,
Daryl Henderson too, and Antonio Gibson.
Exactly, paying a running back.
Bring them like that in Memphis. Okay, let's go, Gainesville. Come on, bring that over here.
I think it's very dangerous, man. When you pay a running back that much money, it really shackles you a little bit. And then Ezekiel Elliott, he's trying to get back to normal, but Tony Pollard, in my opinion, outplayed him this past season. It's just my humble opinion. He was more effective in certain situations.
So, and just to bounce off of that, because it's like, I can't knock these running backs. They're so devalued. They deserve a bag, right? They deserve to get paid. But at the same time, it just, when teams sign running backs, in my opinion, that usually hurts the franchise so much, because you're investing so much into that position. I agree with everything everybody's saying. Like, you get more value, in my opinion, by having some type of a rotational running back system. You can't just key in on one player. Once you see, oh, that's Zeke in the game, oh, we know what it is. We know exactly where they're going. But if you've got multiple people, you can't really key in on stuff like that. So, again, like I understand these running backs. You got Le'Veon Bell, people like that holding out to get their payday. I get it. I understand. These are human beings. Human beings trying to make sure their lives are successful down the road. But at the same time, when it comes to looking at this franchise and how it affects it, sometimes I expect for some of these players. I mean, if they're looking for a championship, one of these to get. Hey, sometimes you got to take team-friendly deals. So it is what it is.
All right, Richie MC, my guy came in with a $2 super chat that can guide us right into our next conversation. Go ahead, Foothills.
To piggyback off what Notion just said real quick, if you're asking me to extend Miles Sanders with Howie Roseman as the GM, as much as I love Booby, as much as I love what he does in the field and as talented as I think he is, I say no, because Howie is just going to backload the contract just like he always usually does. And like Notion said, it's gonna hurt us come 2 or 3 years down the road when those bigger years are coming around that he backloaded on. And I with Howie at the helm, I would say no. That's my humble opinion.
Yeah. Richie MC with the $2 super chat coming in says, after 1 to 2 seasons, move Lane to guard or the door. This also ties into my guy Sharif's comment earlier when he was asking about the offensive line. So we can transition in. We can talk about the offensive line, guys. Boy, this is a tough one. 2 years from now, Lane Johnson will be like 33-ish, 34-ish. Ooh. 3 ankle injuries, 3 straight seasons. Jack Driscoll on the team.
So I'm saying, man.
It's time to start,
towards the door.
Yeah, I agree with that. We got to start developing some of this young talent because, and especially right now while we're in a prime. Because, listen, we have a GOAT of an O-line coach, in my opinion. Jeff Stoutland, one of the best to do it. I almost had myself a meltdown when I heard Jeff Stoutland was trying to leave. So we need to take advantage.
Scared. I was terrified.
Bro, I was terrified. So we need to take advantage of this time right now while Jeff Stoutland's here, develop this young talent. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Lane. I know injuries. Hey, right now I think he's already hit that ceiling. But again, we need to start getting this young talent developed because we have some prospects. Hey, this man taught Jordan Mailata the color of a football and almost, how to become possibly a Pro Bowler, maybe. I don't know. I believe in this kid. Now, let's just put it like that. I had no belief in Mailata either. So, hey, this O-line right now, we need to take advantage of what we have in-house. And, yes, Lane Johnson, you might be looking at guard or someone else on this line, wherever you're most impactful. But, again, if you can't stay healthy, bye-bye Lane Johnson.
Yeah, man.
That's a tough one, man, because Lane at his best is really freaking good, man. But, I mean, the ankle after the ankle after the ankle has me concerned. I don't know if he's going to be the same guy, but, I mean, it's hard to find dudes of Lane Johnson's ability. Now, I do want to read something that Jalen Williams said, guys, and I want to get your thoughts on this because Jalen's kind of my go-to guy when I talk about the offensive line. I got a little knowledge, but I approach the offensive line from the quarterback. I know when an offensive lineman has lost leverage. The reason I know that is because I know I'm about to get killed. But that's about my extent. Like Jalen says, Lane wouldn't hold up at guard. His body isn't built for that punishment. Lane is a long, top-heavy guy. When you're looking for a guard, you want guys with tree trunks on the interior, lower body strength, guys. Talking about lower body, the ability to anchor and hold, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Lane Johnson is like a dude that doesn't look natural at 300 pounds. I'll give you that, Jalen. I think you're right. I think that he's a much leaner guy. In reality, I think he forces the weight, to be honest. You look at a guy like Matt Pryor, not trying to throw shade at Matt Pryor. You're my guy. Don't try to come after me. I don't need no 6'7", 330-pound dude trying to chase me around.
No.
But Matt Pryor looks like a 330-pound dude. Lane Johnson does not look like a natural 315-pounder to me.
Well,
what do you guys think?
To your point about that, just responding to Jalen Williams, I agree. I feel like Lane's he's just a little too upright. He's a little too tall to be in that guard spot. And I'm not exactly sure. Somebody correct me. Somebody let me know. Lane Johnson, he wasn't always a right tackle, was he?
He was a quarterback at one point.
He was so that leans even more towards Gates' point that he looks like an unnatural 300-pound guy. You know what I'm saying? So I personally don't want Lane Johnson at right tackle. I mean, I'm sorry, at right guard. If he's not at tackle, then what's the point of him being here at this point? I feel like he can't get that low. Like he'll take a beating. He'll really be in the blue tent if he's at the guard spot.
Yeah, hey, I agree.
I mean, let's put it this way: Did we move John Runyon into guard? I don't think we ever moved John Runyon to guard when he was done. So, I mean, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it would work.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the fans just like to think that, we can just move him to guard. Like that's the solution for everyone. Yes, for some guys you can do that, but I don't think that's just the end all be all. And I think, in 2 years you might be looking to possibly trade Johnson or maybe even before then for someone, because he is such a high caliber player that if, you want to try to groom Driscoll or someone else under him and he's not really part of the future, it might be a better option for both sides for him to go somewhere else and still play right tackle rather than make it an awkward adjustment and switch him to guard when you have a Jack Driscoll who could possibly play right tackle, or he can also play right guard too. But no, I agree with you guys 100%. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, not buying it.
So if I can ask you guys one question, and Jalen, if you're still in here, and I know you are, but I want to ask you one question, Jalen, because you know a little more about linemen in the build and like how that works, guys. I was never a lineman. I find it impressive that Lane Johnson was a quarterback to convert it to lineman because, I was never ever going to be a lineman unless you wanted to kill your quarterback.
Where's the protein shakes?
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. But what I will ask you, Jalen, I'll ask you guys this too on the panel. What is the big difference, though, between a guy like Todd Harriman's and Lane Johnson, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, Todd Harriman kind of had that bigger, longer frame. Like, what made him so successful in the interior that makes Lane Johnson – like, I don't have the answer. That's what I'm asking, guys. I have no clue where their differences were just because I'm so far removed from when Todd Harriman's played. Like, I remember him, but I just don't – I really never thought about it like that, like what makes him so good as an interior guy when he was really supposed to play the outside. I mean, I don't know, man. I wonder about that too. But what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it was experience. Really,
Todd too. Was Stout there at that time? Oh no, my apologies. No, what's Foothills saying? My apologies. I'll go after him.
Oh, I was just saying that that I think chalk it up to experience. At playing at the position. I think Harriman's just got good at playing guard because after a while, just some experience and him being a good athlete.
No, I was gonna say, well, first and foremost, I ain't got no kind of experience talking about no O-line mechanics, so I'm gonna put that out there right now. I ain't never touched no kind of an O-line, so let's go get that out there right now. But at the same time, hey, listen, from what I see from Lane Johnson, I mean, the man's a natural athlete. Todd Herman's, I mean, he had a lot of, I guess, he just seemed more versatile to me. I don't know why, like, I just don't have that same confidence, trust level of moving Lane Johnson around the formation. It seems like we did a lot of moving with Todd Herman. So, I don't know. I just don't see, again, Lane Johnson's an incredible athlete. Like everybody's saying, his build looks different. I'd be nervous having him in at guard just because, I mean, he's getting rushed by defensive tackles that way. How much? I mean, come on. I mean, just repetitively, I think that's just a lot of damage for his frame. But at the same time, I mean, I can't really give you a logical answer, as to what their similarities is. I know Todd Herman's is an Eagles great also. Hey, much respect. Lane Johnson is rightfully so also. But to move Lane Johnson around, I just don't see the versatility as I saw with Herman. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Nick Ripa coming in with the $5 super chat saying, we will win the division if our O-line stays healthy. What do you guys think about our linebackers? We're going to get to that, Nick. Just give us 1 minute. I want to get Tone's thoughts on, like, the whole moving Lane Johnson into the interior, and like if he noticed anything just from just kind of watching, like did something stand out to him about like a Todd Harriman's, and like because I mean it is weird because Todd Harriman's is kind of the unicorn, isn't he?
Yeah, they have a similar build. Todd Harriman's was 6'6", over 300 pounds. So they have a similar build, but just like Notion said, there was something. You know what I think it was? Ty Harriman's, when he came in, he had to really find his place. He was, I believe, he was undrafted. I believe he was undrafted. No, I'm sorry, he was drafted. He was around round 4, pick 126 for the Eagles. My apologies, but he struggled earlier on, and I feel like he needed to find where he was comfortable. Whereas Lane Johnson, he was a tackle through and through, right tackle through and through. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know too much about O-line, that much to really give a strong opinion about it. I think I could just charge to the game and be like, hey, he had to be versatile in order to stay in this league. He wasn't as talented as Lane Johnson. So Harriman, he had to be a jack of all trades, master of none, so to speak. Just to stay on that field, and his strength ended up being the guard position.
Yeah, I can see that. Jeremiah Butler coming in with the $9.99 super chat saying, "Let's just state the obvious: anybody at that size of a lineman will eventually have problems, much less those that play this contact sport. I'm just curious to see how Dickerson holds up." Hey, man, that's going to be the 37th question.
Yeah, the thing about Dickerson is he plays the game with such tenacity, such vigor, such aggression. He's so talented. He's so much more physically imposing than the people he goes against. He never had, in my opinion, doesn't have to rely, especially in college, he didn't have to rely on too much technique. He was not saying he doesn't have technique. I don't want to get that mixed up. I believe he was just so talented. He was so dominant, so strong. He relied more so on his natural physical abilities to dominate matchups. And that's probably why he got hurt, putting his body in situations that it didn't need to be in. Whereas if he was more technically sound, he wouldn't have to rely so much on pure brute strength. Let's be real. Think about it like this. There is a right and wrong way to lift weights, right? So there's a right and wrong way to block. Even though you may be stronger than the guy, there's a right and wrong way to plant your feet and position yourself. And I'm pretty sure Jalen Williams can clarify what I'm trying to say here. Like, you can rely so much on talent and not fundamentals of technique, and you can end up hurting yourself, putting your body on the line. And I think that's going to be important for Landon Dickerson. That it's going to be very imperative for him to understand and learn under Jason Kelce and find out how Jason Kelce was able to stay so healthy so long in this NFL. Let's be honest. Jason Kelce has been the Iron Man on the offensive line for many, many, many years, and he's been undersized, going up against guys bigger than him, stronger than him. But somehow, some way, he managed to be dominant, and that's just not on talent. Jason Kelce wasn't highly recruited, wasn't highly touted, but he came in. He was fundamentally sound. He put his foot to the pavement. Put the axe to the iron and just started sharpening his toolbox, and he managed to play above his weight, So it's going to be important for Landon Dickerson to learn from Jason Kelce the technique on how to stay healthy. The technique in as far as do this with your body so you can still win those matchups, but you're not sacrificing yourself in the long run.
Yeah, I like Vic 3's comment. Linemen aren't Legos. You can't just fit them wherever you want.
I like that one.
Perfect. It's beautiful. That is perfect. That is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, that Tone. Great point.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to get some specifics from you, Jalen. I completely get what you're saying, but when you short set somebody, how different is that from like a 45-degree set? Like, how different is the technique between those two? I'd have to get you to kind of like really go into detail about that. For some of you guys following this going, what in the are you guys talking? Don't worry. Like this is like very nuanced, into the weeds, like quarterback asking a lineman question. Yeah.
Do we need another City Jalen interview? I think we need another one. We need an online breakdown.
Yes, sir.
Give us a masterclass, Gates. We need a masterclass from you and Jalen Williams for offensive line play. Give it. The people need it.
Listen, I'll tell you my experience with offensive line play. I knew when a lineman didn't shoot his hips correctly and didn't engage the defensive tackle or the defensive end in the right way, I knew it was time for Gate to get out of the pocket.
The results weren't going to be good.
I remember it was time to run. Run for your life. That's what I remembered.
I'm serious, man. Like Jalen needs to. I don't know. I don't know if he's a content creator or not, but it'd be dope to see him just break down offensive line play purely because I rely on guys like Jalen Williams. To provide that insight on that level, man. Because there's so many positions on this field, it's impossible to know every inch in detail as far as technique, fundamentals, and it's really hard, especially when you're trying to cover everything surrounding it. So I really rely on guys like Get City to break down the numbers and things like that, and I really rely on guys like Jalen Williams. When he speaks, when Jalen Williams speaks, I listen when it comes to O-line play. Truly.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because like I said, I was a guy that I'm running for my life as soon as I saw that they lost leverage. And I'm coming back to the huddle like, yo, everything good, man? Did you have a heavy dinner? Like, what happened, bro? Like, what's going on, bro? Why are we losing leverage? What's happening?
Oh, man. And as a quarterback, I'm pretty sure you felt it internally.
Oh, yeah, your clock is going, I'm sure.
That clock was like, whoa.
Yeah, teammates look like, where are you running from? Where are you running for? He lost leverage.
I don't know, but I feel something. I don't know.
I had the opposite problem of Wentz. I felt everything.
It better be.
Right? I knew it was coming. Like, hell no, I'm out. I'm not sticking back here. All right, guys. He was asking, what are the super chats?
Man, I had to go.
About linebackers, right?
Linebackers?
Yeah. So what did you guys think about our linebacker group?
And real quick, I'll kick this one off, guys. I got to hop off this thing in a bit. I got to go handle some business. But you already know I got to give my take on these linebackers real quick for these Eagles. So, all right, listen. The Philadelphia Eagles, I still don't think we don't never prioritize linebackers, right? But I'm actually just looking, and maybe I need a refresher, but from the past, Super Bowl teams that have won, the Bucs just won last year. Who's their linebacker? Like, who's their stud?
Devin White.
Levante David.
David and Devin White.
David, okay.
White. Levante David played above. He
played at elite status.
Oh, my God. Levante David.
You take a look at a previous year, the Chiefs won. Who's their linebacker? Do they got a pretty stud? I don't know. But I guess the point of this is, it's not always a necessity to have a linebacker. I think our linebackers are straight average. But at the same time, I'm interested to see the growth from some of these players. We were robbed last year of even seeing the talent. We got Davion Taylor on the roster. We got Sean Bradley. I still want to see what these people can amount to. It was good to see the takeoff of Alex Singleton. I'm interested to see. I got a feeling they might try to slide Stevens as a linebacker at times. So it was really good watching your last video you dropped, Gate, where you kind of break down. That's why I love your channel, brother. Big salute, because you get my mind going with some of these possible fronts that this team could use. So the way these alignments you had, hey, listen, if we could, and I don't know how the linebackers are going to be lining up. Again, ain't nobody seen this defensive scheme. I'm sure we got ideas. But again, from some of the ways that those linebackers are being used or that they've lined up, we need some talent out there. So I think right now we're just straight average. I'm willing to see, or I'm interested to see some of these kids grow. But again, I don't think we haven't done so in quite some time, placed a priority on the linebacker group. So again, I don't think it's a necessity key to win a Super Bowl or to get to the dance or to do anything special. But I'd like to see my linebackers develop, and I just hope the arrow keeps pointing up.
Yeah, for sure, man. You got to give credit to Todd Bowles, man. Todd Bowles really had those guys prepared. Yes. Todd Bowles, not taking nothing away from those guys' skill sets, those talent and their talent. But if you guys ever had the opportunity, or I don't know if you watched it already, watch Levante David's interview with More Than an F. No, what is it? House of Athlete, yes, with Brandon Marshall, all those guys. Watch that interview and the way he breaks it down, how they prepared for that, for that matchup, and how they got smoked the first matchup in the season. They got smoked. Wasn't that the game where the Chiefs just dropped like 4 or 5 touchdowns in the first half, something like that? It was intense. It was crazy. They knew what happened. And the way Levante David broke that game down, broke down the way they processed their information, they just knew from the first snap, they knew they were going to win that game. It was insane how he breaks it down. And hearing Levante David's story from how he, wasn't really highly recruited because of things that went on in his personal life, it's just amazing to really hear. But, just to key in on the whole our linebacker situation, we haven't really prioritized it. And if we're being completely honest, we haven't drafted a linebacker high. Really, let's be real. The best linebacker in the past 20 years that we've had probably was Jeremiah Trotter, right? And he was drafted in the 3rd round. And where did we draft Davion Taylor? The 3rd round. So we haven't drafted high on linebacker really ever. We've just expected guys to play above their pay grade. We relied on developing guys, and that's where we failed these past several years. So I think it's very important that Sean Bradley, Davion Taylor, those 2 guys specifically, get their snaps. We need to find out what they are and what they're capable of. We have to. We cannot allow these guys to go somewhere else and then all of a sudden they just get unlocked.
Yeah.
We need to really find, especially Davion Taylor, because he has physical traits that are electrifying at the position. We need to find a way to utilize him and use him. And we also have guys like TJ Edwards, who's very good in run blocking, but like Gates said, he's definitely on. He may be on the chopping block because based on how our scheme is going to be on defense. You're thinking about guys like Alex Singleton, who, in my opinion, played above his pay grade, especially in that chaos we had last year. We brought in Jacoby Stevens, who's a hybrid linebacker safety. Definitely looking forward to what he can bring to the table. And then Jannard Avery being moved back to the linebacker, which is more so his more natural position. So it's definitely exciting to see what happens. I'm expecting a lot of competition in the linebacker room. I really want these guys to really lock in. Based on the interviews I've seen on the Philly Talk podcast, shout out to Philly Mike for getting Davion Taylor and Sean Bradley. Those were 2 big interviews, in my opinion. I really wanted to see what those guys' mindsets were. And those guys are so locked in. They're so locked in. And I really want to see Davion Taylor and Sean Bradley win. I really do.
Hey, real quick, fellas. Again, I got a great jump off this thing. My guy, Gate City, the GOAT, kicking this thing in cerebral fashion. Y'all make sure y'all check out all of my guys on this panel right now because they all kicking that work, giving them equal vibes, kicking in full cerebral fashion to my guy over that way. That way. You already know. Hey, go check your boy's channel out too. Y'all know I'm grinding with it too. So y'all already know if y'all new to the ride, y'all know what to do. Go hit that subscribe. And y'all already know how we getting it. So, hey, fellas, brothers, y'all already know. I don't care what nobody say. We on another quest for one of these. Yes, sir. And we out here gonna get it. So, hey, guys, y'all stay up. Love my brothers up here. Everybody make sure y'all smash that like. Hey, and until next time, hey, keep the notion. Later, Gate.
Later, man. We appreciate you, Notion.
Always, my brother.
All up, baby boy.
Yes, sir.
$5,000, man.
So, some things about the linebackers, guys. And Jeremiah, I'm going to get to your super chat, buddy. The thing I noticed is that I'm concerned about what they say might or could be the team because, man, there were some similarities between Indianapolis and Minnesota, but there's also some really drastic differences. And I know, Jalen, I know you'll appreciate this because you're going to get what I'm about to say. Generally speaking, if you play a 43 over, you're playing 6 men in the box, especially in today's game. That Sam, that Rover, that safety in the big nickel is generally speaking going to be lined up outside of the tight end, the Y. Okay. But Minnesota had a tendency to play a lot of base. Like 25 or so % of their snap was base coverage. So they played a lot of stacked 43 over. Bro, that's like reckoning back to the 1990s, early 2000s. Like, you don't see that type of stuff too much anymore. And that's when you got a 7-man box with a 43 over. And it's, guys, if you're wondering when I say, like, what the heck does he mean by over? An over means basically the 3 technique is on the strong side of the offense. Pretty much it's that's the dead giveaway. Anytime you're under, your 0 tech will be towards the strong side. If your 0 tech's on the strong side, you're in an under. But if you're in an over, your 3 technique should be on the strong side of the offense. So the crazy thing is, guys, is like, I look at this and I see drastically different roles for the linebacker, so it makes it really complex to like really break it down. So Jeremiah was saying definitely a jewel in our fan base, Steve. Man, I appreciate you, Jeremiah. Appreciate your knowledge of the game and everyone's takes. What's your analysis of Dickerson's technique, and what scheme do you anticipate these linebackers? So we're going to tackle the last question first since we're already on it, Jeremiah. So, guys, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen here. I think the linebackers are going to go with whatever front the defense is going to play. I think the defensive front is going to dictate what happens, to be quite honest with your linebackers. Do I think we'll be as high as 25% base? Maybe, but I got doubts there. I got doubts we're going to be as far into the base as Minnesota was. I still think you'll see it. I'd say you take 5% off, 20%, somewhere in that area, right? I think what you're going to see is a lot of 4-2-5 and a lot of 3-3-5. But I think our 3-3-5 is going to look like a 52. So if you play if you're playing a 30 front, but you basically what you do in that 30 front is that you play like an under, generally speaking, that looks like a 50 front. It looks like a 52 because what you're doing is you're dropping down 2 edge rushers. That's what I could see the Eagles getting really creative, right? Because in that situation, that's where you have guys like Jannard Avery and Patrick Johnson with 3 interior pass rushers. That's where you can get the creativity coming in. You could play a generalized 34 front. You could do that. I mean, the Eagles could definitely do that. They could still take a stand-up joker rusher. At the end of the day, guys, you can call it a 34 front. You can call it a 3-3-5. You can call it a 4-2-5. It doesn't matter. We're playing semantics. Because what you're doing is you're taking a defensive end the way the Eagles would do it, and you're standing him up as a joker. That's what they're going to do. But I do think that you'll see some versatility there, right? I definitely think you're going to see them play around, and you're going to see something that really resembles a 5-2. You're going to see a 52. But really, they're not going to call it that because they're listing Avery and they're listing guys like Patrick Johnson as a linebacker. So in reality, it might be more of a 3-3-5, but it's going to look a heck of a lot like a 52. I can tell you that. I think you're going to see stuff like that. Our base is still going to be a 40 front, though. They're going to run 4 down linemen most of the snaps. That's why they have to be so freaking flexible with the defensive line, right? That's where a kid like Milton Williams, where, like I said, I personally didn't have Milton that high. It doesn't matter that I didn't have him that high. You know, it is what it is. But I understand the thought process, which is Milton Williams gives you a ton of flexibility. So even though other teams might not have had him quite that high on their boards, if you're a team like Philadelphia, New England, or teams like that get really versatile with your fronts, I think a kid like Milton Williams is going to shoot up your draft board, right? Because that's a kid that has inside-outside versatility. That's a very valuable skill set with that type of front. And that, you know, you can't really you can't disconnect the linebackers from the line. Like it's hand in hand with those two, unfortunately. Now, as Notion was saying and as Tone was saying, like, I think that makes TJ Edwards particularly susceptible to a potential roster cut. It doesn't mean it's going to happen because I still think TJ Edwards is better than people think. I think he's gotten better every year he's been here, and this is his 3rd go-around. So we'll see if he doesn't take another large step forward. But he's going to have to prove to be a really, really capable zone defender. He's going to have to show that he can shoot his hips and get into the right spot, fall into the right placement in that zone, and be an actual, playmaker. That's going to be that next kind of revolving thing for him. Like, he has to evolve in that aspect of the game. If he doesn't, I think that he's potentially a cut.
Right. So what are your expectations for Alex Singleton? Just out of curiosity.
A little overhyped in my opinion. Good player, good football player. But I think he's a little overhyped, to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Probably one of our best linebackers just out of necessity. Does that mean that I think that he's top 15, 20, 30% in the league? Probably not, to be quite honest. I think he's got good instincts. I think he plays the game with a certain passion and a certain tenacity. I think that makes you love the kid, right? I mean, it's not, like you said, Tone, it's not always that you're the best player or one of the top players in the league It's the passion in which you play the game with. And I think that's what's so appealing about Alex Singleton. I think he's probably in line to get the most or the second most snaps, though, out of the linebacker group, because he's the guy that played the most man coverage snaps, even including Eric Wilson. So he played more man coverage than him. That doesn't mean that we're going to be a man coverage system. That's not what I'm implying. I'm saying it's easier to grade man coverage than zone coverage. It tells you a little bit more about the player's ability to actually cover.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna be competitive, man. Hunter, what do you think, man? Like, this linebacker room is gonna be extremely. But we still got Eric. You brought up Eric Wilson, Gates. Like, I completely forgot about him. And he had a great year in Minnesota. Hunter, what are your expectations? Then Ness, you go as well. I want to hear y'all expectations about this linebacker room as well.
Yeah. So I think Gate makes a good point about TJ Edwards, especially because if we are going to end up running a decent amount of cover too, and he's going to have to play that middle of the field, I'm not sure if I love that, because obviously if you're going to play too high a lot of the time, he's going to have to make up for. There's going to be times where there's going to be guys going down the seam, and he's probably not going to be able to catch up with them. So he could definitely be susceptible to a roster cut. I'm happy you mentioned Patrick Johnson, because I believe he played the Joker role at Tulane and moved around. He rushed from both sides of the line, strong side, weak side, even rushed from the interior. I even saw him go and follow a running back out to the boundary and cover him on one play. I think it was Kenny Gainwell, actually, and he made a nice play. But point being, like, I think you make a good point, because even though Jannard Avery is switching to linebacker, I believe he was a 3-4 guy in Cleveland. So you still want to kind of incorporate that kind of style with him and not just say, look, you're just going to be, an off-ball linebacker now and play in our 4-3, right? So I think they make a good point about just the scheme fits and everything, and how these guys like Patrick Johnson and Jannard Avery, you can use both of their strengths with rushing the quarterback and as well as dropping into the curl flat as well if you need them to, which I think Jalen Williams mentioned in the comments. I'm excited to see those couple of guys. I mean, Jacoby Stevens, I think he could possibly play a little bit of that middle of the field just because he'll be a little bit better, maybe on passing downs more so. But Eric Wilson, kind of definitely more of a pass coverage linebacker. From what I understand, he's not really a great run defender. He kind of got bulldozed. The reason why he got a lot of tackles, from what I understand, is that teams scheme to run the ball at him a decent amount of the time. That's just what I'm hearing. I know, Gate, you did a video on the average depth of tackles, or the average yards of depth. It was Singleton, Edwards, and then Wilson. You compared all three of them, and Wilson and Singleton were definitely a little farther downfield. So like you said, Singleton, was he does play with a lot of energy. You got to love that. But there are times where he's making tackles downfield. He's getting beat, not playing very well in coverage. So I think a lot of it's just a project right now overall, to sum it up. Davion, I think, is just the raw prospect. He's got the athleticism you would love in him in a linebacker. But, I mean, he didn't play football for a couple years there because of his religious beliefs and all that. Nothing against his religious beliefs, but that's just a matter of the fact. And, he's a great special teamer. I liked what I saw of him on punt coverage and kick coverage and all that last year. But, we drafted in the third round. We want to see what he can do and see if he can be one of our guys. So I think there's a lot of questions right now. There's a lot of talent there, but there's also a lot of guys you're going to have to make tough decisions on, and you don't really know where to fit into the new scheme. So I think Gate hit a lot of it and hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I think that depending on who they put on the 53 or 55 or 60, whatever it turns out to be, and if they go to 60, that could be something too that leads them to take extra spaces to say, we can keep an Avery, we can keep a Johnson, and we can keep a TJ Edwards, because we're expanding the roster. So now we can really be versatile in what we can do. And I think that's something to really watch out for. What I will say is, like what you were picking up on, which when I did the average depth of target, what that told me, or tackle, what that told me is that your ADOT tells you how good a guy's reading it. And TJ Edwards really reads run defense very well. Like, he's one of the better guys to come around in some time that I've watched play like that. He's not Jeremiah Trotter, guys. He doesn't have the axe hammer. He doesn't have that axe hammer strength. Don't get me wrong. But he really reads and flows very well on run defense. If you guys remember, if you guys have NFL Game Pass, go back to 2019 and watch him start in Buffalo and watch what he did to that Buffalo running offense. The way that one guy, the linebacker core, who was an undrafted rookie free agent, fighting for his life on that football team, impacted that game. That's what makes it hard to cut TJ Edwards, but makes him susceptible depending on the amount of players we can put on the roster. And if it goes to a 60-man or a 55-man as compared to a 53, and then also the versatility of the scheme. And Does he now fit? And do they opt for a Sean Bradley, who's also a fairly good run defender? A guy that could definitely be your will. He could play the mic if you needed him to. Like, he's got some of those same abilities. He's more athletic though. I would say that Sean Bradley's not the most fluid athlete, but he's probably a little bit better than TJ Edwards at moving around in space. Yeah. It's a weird situation, you know what I'm saying? Richie MC with the $5 super chat said appreciation, fellows. Hey guys, we really appreciate y'all coming in and tuning in, guys.
For sure, this is a good one. I'm enjoying this for real. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough when you talk linebackers because so much of it is untapped, unknown potential or disaster. I don't know, guys. Like, if I talked to somebody that was really enthusiastic, they probably could persuade me, right? If I talked to somebody that was really pessimistic, they probably could persuade me. Just because I don't know. I honestly don't know how some of these dudes are going to fit. But I love Patrick Johnson. I love like his film. He's not a very there's not a lot of nuance to his pass rush moves. It's just I'm going to beat you with pure athleticism. But man, he got some people. I mean, he really took the edge well. He bends the edge very well.
I'm so excited about this season, you guys. I'm sorry, like I can't contain it. Like I'm always professional in these type of things, bro. I am freaking hype about the season, win or lose. Like I need some football in my life. A freaking set.
I am juiced like an orange on Saturday.
Seriously,
yeah.
Like I'm freaking yoked up like with this conversation. Like, hey, you guys break down the different techniques and all this thing. Look, like, I'm geeking right now. I am so excited. I know everybody in the live chat is as well. This season is going to be electric, win or lose. We are really going to find out what these players are all about, man. With the full season sample, so 17 games, this is going to be lit.
Yes, sir. Hey guys, I'm going to link. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and link Tone. I'm going to link Philly Foothills. I'm going to link Notion. I'm going to go ahead and link Hunters. I'm going to link all their YouTube stuff in the comment section while they're talking. Guys, tell me, what are your thoughts about, like, what did you guys think about the defensive line? Let's talk a little about Milton Williams. What were your guys' thoughts about Milton Williams? Because I think he's a complex person to really break down and talk about.
And I'll let you go first, Foothills.
Go for it.
On Milton Williams. Well, before I touch on that real quick, but let me add in a little bit on the linebacker because I didn't get to touch on that. But for me, linebacker, I really like Aaron Wilson. I think he's going to be a good fit for us, but we really only have him for 1 year. So, Alex Singleton is a good secondary piece. And I'm with you, Gates, on TJ Edwards. I'm higher on him, especially when it comes to the run defense, and we need that in our division. We have some good running backs going against us. So, the microscope for me is really going to be on that linebacker position because we need some younger talent to step up, like a Sean Bradley, but also the linebacker coach, Nick Rawlis, he is so young, and I want to see how that pans out with the talent that we have on this team and how he can help develop them.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, as far as what were we talking about after that? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. D-line. What are your expectations as far as D-line? What do you think about guys like Milton Williams, guys like Teron Jackson, Marlon Latoya too? What do you how do you view this defensive line? Now and just going into the future, knowing we went heavy on the D-line in this draft.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that we're starting to dip into that. We got to start looking towards the future. And speaking of Milton Williams, the more and more I've studied on this kid, the more I'm liking the pick because I think he's going to be a versatile piece on that defensive line, and Coach Rocker is going to get very good value out of this kid. And he kind of the way Milton Williams uses his lack of length and things like that, he reminds me of Brandon Graham a little bit. And if he can have anywhere near the amount of success as Brandon Graham has had, then he's gonna have a pretty damn good career in Philadelphia, and I think that it was a good move moving back because like you said, we picked up Teron Jackson too, who is another good piece for us, and he's more of that. I think he's more of that that DN type, but I'm excited. Like you said, we're gonna have some young talent on this defensive line, some young pieces that we can use as rotational pieces. And I think they can learn a thing or two from some of these veterans that we have on the D line, like Cox and Hargrave and BG. BG is my favorite Eagle. He has been since I can even remember, since he came into the league.
Yeah.
I feel you on that, man. Hunter, you can go.
Yeah, I mean, I like Milton Williams. I also agree with Gate. I think it might have been a little bit early for him to get picked there. I wasn't as high on him as everyone else. Like, obviously, it wasn't the flashy pick at 73 that everyone wanted. But, I think you look at him, he's just a physical freak. 286 pounds, but he runs a 4.63 40-yard dash, I think, and had a 35-inch vert, which is pretty good for his size. But, like, he also, he fills his gap very well in the run game. Is like he maintains his ground. He doesn't really lose ground in the run game either. And I like his second effort as a rusher. He can play, off the edge. He can play on the interior. And I think some people forget where I saw it, but someone mentioned that he played a lot of the year at 260 pounds because he wasn't expected on the interior, but they lost guys due to opt-outs and injury, and that kind of forced him back on the inside. So that didn't benefit him a ton. So I think, the production was there the past couple of years, but at the same time, you do worry, like, is he just a good tester at the combine? Was it just because of the level of competition he was playing, which is something that Gabe mentioned to me with his game against BYU where he didn't look too strong. And, sometimes it looks like he does get overpowered despite his freakish athleticism. So, you got to work on the technical stuff a little bit. But I'm hopeful. I think he can be a good rotational piece for now behind, like what Phil was saying, like Cox and Hargrave and those guys. And I think he's definitely an upgrade from, like, I like Hassan Ridgeway, but he's not usually healthy. And then after that, I think it's T.Y. Gill and Raekwon Williams, who I'm not exactly banking on to be good depth pieces or rotational pieces. So,
yeah, definitely, I agree with you. And then Jalen Williams just brought up a good point. If you're using him in stunt, if you're using him in stunt situations, then he fits the role. And that's the thing. Like his arms are too short to really be on the edge. So let's just say if the play starts and he's on the edge and then he stunts, goes on the inside, like, I can definitely see him doing that. But he has tools. He has tools that you can definitely build on. He definitely has. He needs to work on. He has decent footwork, but from him being a former basketball player. But he's quick. He's twitchy. He's very, very violent hands, very aggressive hands. So it'll be very interesting to see what he can amount to. I definitely want to put his talent level at starting caliber yet, because we need to find out ultimately what he is and what he can do against NFL level talent. But I agree with you guys. I felt like Milton Williams that was a bit early for me. I thought we would go corner at that spot maybe, but he definitely has tools that we can work with, and just based on what I've seen and based on what I read, he needs to develop a go-to move. He needs to develop as a pass rusher more.
Yeah, so, Milton Williams was an incredibly difficult evaluation, to be quite honest. And I'm still evaluating him even to this day, guys. So there was something you said, Tone, I want to really hone in on, because I think you said something that's really important. You talked about his hand use. His initial move, pass rush move, is very good. He's very, very good initial pass rusher. The problem is that if an offensive lineman catches him on the initial pass rush, he doesn't really have a good secondary rush move. Right. And that's where he gets stonewalled. That's where, like, his BYU film, it was like, oh boy, this doesn't look good, right? But I will tell you this, guys, it's really difficult because BYU made a lot of good players look stupid. Let's just be real. That is an NFL caliber offensive line out there. There's a reason why Zach Wilson lit people up. It's because Zach Wilson is talented too, but that offensive line helps a lot. Don't get me wrong. He also played another really monster offensive line in Marshall. Some people are really sleeping on Marshall's offensive line, and it bothers me because, like, I study the game, so I know how good Marshall is, man. Greg Atkins, their offensive line coach, he left and went to South Carolina. I'm telling you, South Carolina's offensive line is about to get good. This guy he's a phenomenal offensive line coach. They had Kane Madden, Josh Ball, Alex Millette. All three of those guys were good. They were good offensive linemen. They had good talent there, right? The game I looked at Milton Williams, and I thought to myself, guys, I was like, okay, he's flashing. Like, this is adequate competition. So this isn't just him beating up on really bad offensive line. This is a decent opponent and he's playing and he's flashing a little bit. That was UAB. UAB is like the 55th or so ranked offensive line. What I'll say is they ran the ball 41 times. Not they. Milton Williams was in on 41 separate run occasions on this, okay? So they tested him a lot, and he graded out really highly as a run defender in that game. And he had 3 tackles for loss. That was the game where I turned it on and I said, there's talent. Like, there's legitimate talent in Milton Williams. But I got to agree with Jalen Williams. I don't know that I consider him to be a consistent down in and down out 3 technique. I think he's got a tendency against bigger, stronger guys to get washed out of his gap assignment. I think that Hunter brought up a great point, which is you have to know the kid's backstory, which is he was not supposed to be a 3 technique. That's not what he was. He was a 5 tech. Like, he's got some interior pass rush ability in nickel packages, but I mean, it almost makes you have to go back to his 2019 film, and that's what I'm doing now, and judge his 2019 film as a 5 technique, right? We know that he can provide some interior pass rush, but what can he do on the outside as a 5 tech? The only game I got a chance to really break down of him as being a 5 tech was Southern Miss. And he had some moments here and there. Southern Miss isn't a great old line though, so that's not one that I would bring up to recommend to go watch, guys. But if you guys want to watch Milton Williams and you want to see full games, I can tell you to go check out the BYU game. Go check out the UAB game. UAB's got Colby Roslin and Sidney Wells, their left and right tackle guys, both very good football players. And then check out Georgia Southern, check out the Marshall game. Those 4 games are the games that are quality opponents that'll tell you a lot. What I can tell you outside of just like UAB and a few schools like that is he played UTSA. And UTSA was a really poorly ranked line, guys. I mean, it's like 92nd was what it was ranked. But there was a lot of expectations preseason for that offensive line. It didn't meet the expectations. But the talent's there. They got the kid Maka, I don't know how you say his name. And then they got Makai Hart, and they got Spencer Burford. 3 good linemen. Like, they got talent on that line. It's just not – that's the 5 games I would recommend, guys. UTSA, BYU, Marshall, Georgia Southern, UAB. That's the games I would go personally to watch of his from 2020. Come back to me. I'll talk to you guys about 2019 when I got more information, guys. I don't have enough information about his 2019 film yet to really – give you guys definitive statements yet.
Right.
But like I said, guys, bigger linemen washed him out of the holes. They did. They washed him out of his gap assignment. And then, look, I mean, if he beat a guy with his initial pass rush, he really made guys look stupid. If he got you with that initial pass rush, he got you. Like, it looked bad on the film. Like, he embarrassed you. But if you stop the initial pass rush, he really failed to have that second one. But,
so what do you see his ceiling as, Gates? On this roster, where would you place his ceiling?
Tracy Rocker really wanted this guy, Tone. This is a Tracy Rocker pick. This is the defensive line coach's pick. I know people were making a big deal out of Jonathan Gannon. Guys, keep in mind, this was the first defensive player pick as Jonathan Gannon being a defensive coordinator. Of course, he's going to be high. But this was really Tracy Rocker's pick. So this is really on Tracy Rocker. I see his ceiling as being a potential down the road starting 5 technique with interior 3 tech possibility, interior pass rush possibility in certain down and distance and situations. Very much a BG or a Vinny Curry like. Of course, we would much rather see a BG like production. I mean, Vinny Curry's had good seasons too, but he's always been kind of on the cusp of being kind of good, but never really quite getting there. Brandon Graham, he's never really been a double-digit sack guy, but Brandon Graham gets pressure. Brandon Graham will always knock the quarterbacks off their spot. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to me, guys. It's like you gotta judge the player for what he is. Stunts, twists, things like that, guys. I mean, if we're going to be in a defensive alignment where there's going to be a lot of movement, I think Milton Williams is going to be very well suited for that. But we're all projecting. I don't know what. I have no clue.
That's the beautiful part. It's all projection.
Yeah.
Because these guys may get to the NFL and somehow, some way, they just turn it up. Who knows? Like, they get coached up properly. This is going to be a really interesting season. That's why I'm so in love with this season right now, even though we're not the best team right now. But I'm in love with this season coming because we're really going to see guys develop on a week by week by week basis. This is going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one, right? Because like if the defensive line coach wasn't so high on Milton Williams, I would be much more skeptical than I am. But because this defensive line coach thinks that he saw something in this young man that led him to believe that this could potentially be a steal, I got to give Tracy Rocker a chance until he proves that you made a mistake in that evaluation.
Right.
I got to give him the opportunity.
Right, man. That's the thing. Everyone's under evaluation. Everybody. And this is going to be such an interesting year. You know, I want to transition, if you guys don't mind, to the safety position. Now, Kevon Wallace. That's a lot of talking. So we need to find out what he's really about. And I'm on the side of, you know, he's a Clemson safety. He comes from the school of Brian Dawkins and being, you know, and really trying to model his game after him. You know, and you know, he has I think his roommate was Brian Dawkins' son or something like that. I can't quite remember. But
yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, so pretty much, I'm really curious about what we see as the potential for this safety position because, like I said, we got Jacoby Stevens, and they're most likely going to put him in that linebacker spot because, from what it appears, the further away he is from the ball, from the line of scrimmage, the more of a liability he is. So you know, right now our safety position is looking like Marcus Epps, Anthony Harris, Kevon Wallace, Andrew Adams, Ryan McLeod, Elijah Riley. So, you know, what are you guys' thoughts on those guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, I can tackle this one first if you guys want. The Rodney McLeod, I mean, he's got 1 year left. He's blown out. I think he's blown out both ACLs at this point. You know, I don't know how much we can expect from him anymore. I think he's still going to be that veteran mentor and leader that this locker room needs, but, you know, I don't put too many expectations on him. I don't know when he's going to be playing, how much he's going to be able to play. We will see. As for the other guys, Anthony Harris, he had a rough 2020 season. So did the entire Vikings defense, the secondary especially. So I can't put it all on him, and I think he can return to form from when he was, playing at an elite level. I don't know if he'll play at that high of a level, but I do think he can be a guy who's going to thrive in Gannon's scheme. There's familiarity there. As far as Kevon Wallace, the talking definitely bothers me at times, not going to lie. I think that he wasn't used very well. That's just my opinion from last year. I don't think he was used to his full strengths, because I think in college he was a blitzer. He played down at the line of scrimmage a good amount, as well as playing single high and playing in the box as needed or playing too high. Versus last year, I felt like Jim used him a lot of the time at single high. Not that he didn't use him at other spots, but I definitely feel like he could have been used. He could have been used a little more effectively. That's just my opinion. I'm not a defensive coordinator like Schwartz. He knows what he's doing. I don't, but I didn't feel like he was used very well. And I feel like with Gannon, and Mike Zimmer's defense, they ran some of that double A gap blitz where they brought Harrison Smith down to the line. Maybe they can do a little bit of that type of stuff with Kevon Wallace, bring him down to the line of scrimmage a little bit. And then Andrew Adams, I think he can be a good depth piece. I haven't done too much research on him, but I think he can be a good backup for us. And Epps, I'm not a big Epps fan. He's a good special teamer. He's been a solid personal protector on punts and all that, but I just don't think he has the range to play back deep. I think he's for an undrafted free agent, but I don't think he's anything special. And I wouldn't mind if he got cut. Seems like the Eagles front office likes him, the organization likes him, but I don't think he's going to be anything crazy. Nice guy, but nice guys don't always do great in the NFL. So a lot of nice guys in the NFL.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, Foothills?
I honestly think we're going to be pretty solid on the back end as far as safety goes. With Anthony Harris, I think he's going to kind of step into that leadership role on the back end, and he has experience, doing that. And like Hunter said, he did have a kind of a rough year in 2020 in Minnesota, but like you said, the whole defense kind of did as a whole, so you can't put it all on him. But I expect Kevon, especially with McLeod being out at the beginning of the year, I expect Kevon Wallace to kind of shut his mouth a little bit and step up, and I expect him to emerge this year and to become a starting safety for us. I think he has the ability. He can he can cover he can cover some tight ends as well. So he's versatile pretty well, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, I think for the most part, I mean, I think we're going to be okay on the back end. I've heard some people whispering about that guy we got from Tampa Bay possibly playing some corner too. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Adams.
Yeah,
Adams. Look, anything's possible. I mean, I'd be a little concerned about his foot speed on the outside, but because we're going to run a cover 2 scheme, I mean, maybe they're looking at how aggressive he plays, and he has, obviously experience playing strong. That means you're coming down and you're covering slots. You're coming down, you're covering tight ends, and you know what I mean. So, but you're also talking about interior versus the outside. Like, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, look, crazier things have happened, but
yeah, I think everything hedges on. Especially, I think the success of our safeties really hedges on Kavon Wallace taking the next step. Because he was the guy we drafted. I believe we got him. Was it the 4th, 5th round, something like that? I can't remember.
4th round, yeah.
4th round. Yeah. I think it really hedges on that. I think Anthony Harris is going to be the starter. And then whoever's opposite him, I really think Kavon Wallace needs to take that next step. A lot of hedges on him. A lot.
Yeah. So when I look at the safeties, man, I see a lot of confusion here, right? Because Jacoby Stevens, I think, is going to play a roving linebacker role. I don't think they're going to really use him as a safety. I see it this way. McLeod, very, very, very good 2020 season before he got injured.
Yeah, underrated, actually. Very good in pass coverage that year.
Man, but it's another ACL, and he's over 30. Right. I just don't know what he's going to have left. I hope it's still there because I really like McLeod. That guy was the first huge Bout of Birds podcasting we had because I kept calling my man McLeod instead of McLeod. That was what Reese was getting on me.
Yo, listen, you're not that bad. I had a homie that kept calling him McLeod. I was like, bro. I was like, nope, it's McLeod, bro. It's McLeod. Don't worry.
Yeah. I remember it because Reese was coming for you. You got McDonald's on your mind, bro. You up here trying to get a McDouble. I remember that. But
I mean, McLeod made some tackles in the Super Bowl that was
huge. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't make a couple of those tackles, we don't win that game. I mean, he made an ankle tackle on Gronk. He made that close to the goal line tackle on I believe Cooks. I think Cooks tried to jump him, and he hurt him. Yeah. He doesn't make those couple tackles in the Super Bowl. I mean, we probably lose that game. So McLeod, he's an Eagles legend. He's got to be.
It's so crazy. In all fairness, Foothills, the way that game was, the way the Super Bowl was being played. When you think about it going tit for tat, if one thing on that field doesn't happen, we don't win that Super Bowl. Like if somebody misses, I bet any amount of money. If Nick Foles gets sacked one time, we don't win that Super Bowl because he didn't get sacked not one time in that game. I don't believe. If the first sack came on Tom Brady, and that was a strip sack by BG, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If Nick Foles gets sacked at once, if we don't make 1 third down conversion, we don't win that game. Like that game was literally preordained. The way it played out, it was preordained. It couldn't have been written any better. You know what I'm saying? So all due respect to Ronald McLeod, but in all fairness, if a lot of guys don't do their jobs when they were supposed to, we don't win that game.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Definitely, I agree.
Yeah.
So I'll say McLeod, Harris, clearly going to probably be your 1 and 2 if McLeod's healthy. And that's a big if.
Yeah, that's a big if.
Big if.
Then you got Kavon Wallace. I think Kavon Wallace is going to get a ton of playing time this year. Like, I don't think we have the luxury of him not gaining experience and time because past him, people keep saying there's this scheme fit and all this stuff. And look, I get it. I get it. I mean, this young man's been around for a while. He's played special teams for us. I get it. But I don't feel that we're solid at safety because if McLeod is not ready to go and Kavon Wallace is just not, he's still let's go optimistic and say that Kavon Wallace is okay. He still needs development though. Like he's just not
right.
Then I think we're getting into a really bad situation of where you got to either take a guy like Elijah Riley and try him out at safety because he was an outside corner in college and he just doesn't have the foot speed, but I think he's a better nickel candidate, right? You got Graylin Arnold, who's played some free, but I think he's more suited to be a nickel as well, right? Or you're really digging deep into your roster, and you're looking at guys like Marcus Epps, who's been around here for a while. Yes, he played in Minnesota, but they also cut him. Now, I think they had the intention of putting him on the practice squad, to be fair, but I don't know, guys. I think that
either way, we got to find out what we have in Kavon Wallace, because if he's not it, we got to put him on the field this year. We got to find out what we have in him. If he's not it, we gotta invest in the safety position next year's draft.
I was kind of upset we didn't go safety in his draft, really. You know, I understand Jacoby Stevens. I was kind of
true safety. You know?
I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, Paris Ford is on the board. Wow, Talanoa Hufanga's on the board. You know, like I was just thinking myself,
Jamar Johnson fell to like round 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, geez, I know you're going
Indiana.
Yeah, we need a safety, but we need someone to really put some more pressure on these guys to be better, to perform. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a tough situation to find yourself in, because I don't know what they have. I mean, I love the Jacoby Stevens signing just because LSU guys that started, there's going to be a certain safety net there that they can play the game.
Right.
But there's a limitation. Like Jalen Mills. Jalen Mills was a good player, but there was a limitation to his game.
Exactly.
Right.
No, well worth the 7th round pick. Well worth the 7th round pick. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's we're in that situation to where we didn't really value the back 7 as much as we did the front 7. And I know that's confusing because we're talking about a few people in the same conversation, but you know, we didn't really value it as much as I thought we would. And hey, I mean, look, they're gambling. They're gambling that the defensive line is going to be what really secures the defense in general. I do feel like we're going to get a CB number 2. And let's be real, guys. As much as people may not like Mills, what will we give up right now to have Jalen Mills be the CB number 2 and know that that's at least locked in? Because I would take Jalen Mills over what we got right now, hands down.
Yeah, I understand. I completely understand that, because there's a familiarity there. He he
in-house. Oh yeah.
You know, he's in-house, and the thing is, like, you know, I thought we were going to bring Jalen Mills back for another year, but I mean, who could blame him for? I can't blame him for
no, he got paid. He got paid. I don't blame Howie for not matching that, because Jalen Mills is not. I don't think he's warranting that kind of contract.
Right, but in a Bill Belichick scheme, who knows what Bill Belichick can do with that guy? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we can got play well above that contract.
But I mean, Jalen Mills had the height, he had the length, he had the aggressive play. That if you had safety help, I would have loved to have seen him in this system with safety help. Definitely. He might have been something pretty good. I mean, but look, I mean, you know, he's out, and it's like I feel like there's going to be a CB number 2 to get somehow. Whether it's a veteran that gets signed, whether it's someone we trade for, I just feel like a CB number 2 is going to eventually end up. There's just no way you're walking into the season with what we got on the roster. Like, it's just, that's not a competitive team. You can't do that. Like, I get guys that, you know, that probably not going to be hoisting a Lombardi this year. I get it, but I mean, come on, man. You got to package something that's competitive to entice people to buy the tickets here. I mean, come on.
Yeah, man. Like, this defense is going to be real. Defense is going to be hanging on by a thread, man. We run up against the wrong team at the wrong time. It's going to be a problem.
And throwing Zach McPherson into the Wolves too early is going to be nightmarish for his career. Mark my words. If they throw Zach McPherson out there against some of these receivers, he's going to get eaten up. He's going to get eaten up early.
But the thing is, Ellis, I don't even know that we need to tank. If we really want Stingley that bad, I mean, we have enough draft capital to go get him. Yeah. If we really want a player, I mean, we have plenty of draft capital to move up and down boards. Like, if Jalen Hurts turns out to be a legitimate starting caliber quarterback and the Eagles are ready to commit to him, then you got a lot of draft capital to get guys that you want. I mean, there's no excuse for us not to walk away with another blue chip player in 2022.
Exactly. That's why a lot of everything is really dependent on Jalen Hurts being the guy. Mm-hmm. If he becomes the guy, that can save you the headache of really searching for a quarterback and having to leverage assets, and you can push those assets, push those chips to different parts of the field. You know what I'm saying? You can really find you might be able to go and get a legit talent, in the draft at safety or a corner, with those first and second round picks. This is really important for Jalen Hurts to really succeed. It's really important, and that's why I'm glad the way we drafted in terms like the first and second round, even though Landon Dickerson had his own baggage, but getting Devontae Smith will make Jalen Hurts' job 10 times easier.
Yeah, and going off of that, I mean, next year you could grab someone like Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame at safety if you want to get a safety in round 1 too. So,
yeah, it's a good point. All right, guys, let's do one more topic, and we can, if you guys are ready, then we can jump off because I know I've kept you guys for a while, and I appreciate y'all doing this.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Jacoby Stevens because I know this is a very popular pick. And he's pretty much the only guy we haven't really gone over extensively. I kind of mentioned him in passing just a few minutes ago where I said that I felt Jacoby Stevens is probably going to play a roving role. You can call it a safety. You can call it a linebacker. It's a rover. It's a roving player. Like, they're hybrids. By the way, it's what they wanted Nate Gary to be, and Nate Gary just couldn't play the role. What do you guys think here?
Well, I love the Jacoby Stevens pick, if I'm being honest with you. Just that versatility. A lot of people consider that to be a weakness. I immediately thought of it as a strength, especially just thinking about, what we're anticipating from Jonathan Gannon's scheme. He just being able to play the line of scrimmage, because like I said before, he's the further away from the ball he is, the more reliability he may be. So if we can get him in the box, kind of get him in that. I'm not saying he's this guy, but get him in that Jamal Adams type of role, constantly being all over the field. Strong side, weak side in the box. Just drop. Like, if you can just get him as involved in the defense as possible, just make sure he's always near the ball. I feel like Jacoby Stevens can be a steal in this draft.
Yeah, and I want to ask you guys all real quick too. How versatile do you think he's going to be in the NFL? How much do you think that'll translate? Because obviously he's going to be playing against NFL athletes now. Do you guys think that'll be the same thing at the NFL level? Do you think he'll just be a sub package guy who will come in certain situations or in certain formations? Like, what do you guys think about that in the NFL?
I'll let you go.
You want me to go first, Hills, or do you want to go?
I'll go. I think that, I think Jacoby Stevens was a great pick in my eyes because as long with a player like him, as long as you don't expect him to come right into a starting role, this is another good chess piece for Jonathan Gannon. I'm hoping for him to be able to move around. And like I said, if you're not expected to, start right away, the more positions you could play, the more, valuable you are to your team. So, and from what I'm hearing and from what I've been, setting up about with Jacoby Stevens, not only is he talented, gifted on the field, but he is also very, very professional off the field. He's great in the community, and he's a great role model for the young ones. So, I'm hoping this kid steps up into a nice rotational piece for this defense, and we're able to use him in the correct manner.
Yeah, and he's coachable. They say he's very coachable. So, I expect for him to really develop under Jonathan Gannon. It's nothing better than having a guy that's coachable, a guy that's willing to learn, a guy that is willing to hold himself accountable. And, and I take being coachable beyond is just, knowing how to listen. I take that as somebody that they know what they did wrong and they know how to rectify it. So
I see him as probably – I do – so, Paul, I do think he has a shot at making the roster, if I'm being honest, because I don't – you look at who's back there, it's not like he's stepping into like a really talented group. But I don't think that he's going to be like a big-time contributor year one.
No, I don't think so.
I think this is the guy that you're going to see play a lot of special teams, and I think that's what can make him stick on the rosters. How good of a special teams player can this young man be? Because if he's a really good special teams player, he's probably going to make the team. He's a tweener. They're hard to project. Tweeners are the hardest ones to project because he was really good in man coverage. He really was. Struggled in zone. He only had 5 attempts in zone, though. So it's kind of like, we're basing this off of 5 attempts, you know what I mean, in zone coverage, where he played a lot more man. I don't know what his weight's going to be. If he gets up to about 220, 225, I feel like that's a pretty good size for a rover.
Yeah.
Do I want him on a slot receiver? Probably not. Would I like him on a tight end? I think a better favorable matchup. I don't think he's going to see the field too much. I'm just going to be honest, guys. I don't think year one this is a player that's going to see the field drastically, because I think you got guys like Eric Wilson you like. I think you got guys like Alex Singleton you like. I think Alex Singleton does have limitations, and I think Eric Wilson, by the way, has some pretty serious limitations, especially when it comes to run defense. I think both of those guys are a bit of liability in run defense. Now, what you're banking on is that these two guys can develop and get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, guys. I mean, that's up to coaching. That's partially scheme. And let's be real. I mean, we have some top end talent on the defensive line. So, you know what I mean? Like, can they keep these linebackers clean? If they can keep the linebackers clean, they might flash more than people think. But Jacoby Stevens, to me, like I said, special teams guy. You might see him in a little bit of sub package. I mean, if the Eagles do some nickel, I'd be interested to see if he cracks the field. In nickel, or not even nickel. You know what? They're going to definitely do nickel, but dime. I meant to say, if they do some dime, if you see them have an uptick, they're going to do dime, but an uptick in dime utilization. Then I think Jacoby Stevens becomes kind of interesting in the role he might play. But yeah, I mean, it's a logjam because, I mean, if you look at it, like, Jacoby Stevens can cover, but so can Graylin Arnold. Graylin Arnold can come and do that, right? Then you got Avonte Maddox. You got, I don't know past that, guys. It's actually a good question because once you get past that, I mean, would they prefer to bounce Craig James inside? It's a great question, guys. I don't know. I mean, I think you almost kind of have to see him play the role and then judge it as you see it.
Right. Yeah, like I said, you know, guys are going. All these guys are literally going to be on a week by week basis as we're seeing them develop, as we see them, you know, understanding the different looks they're going to get. This is really going to be interesting. This defense, I'm paying very close attention to this defense. You know, obviously we're going to see the offense, but you know, the offense is in a better position than the defense, clearly by far. And you know, it's definitely going to be something that we need to really pay attention to, man. I'm really going to be paying attention to those, you know, the DBs and the linebacker play without a doubt.
All right, John, I'll appease you on this one. Cognac Young, man, I'm sorry, man. I really appreciate you saying that, man. We appreciate that, man. All right, Jalen, we'll appease you before we jump off of here because this is a big topic.
It is.
One thing I don't think was discussed. Thank you for that, Jalen. Basically, he's saying before you hop off of here, Gate, there's a Dallas Goedert extension. What does a Dallas Goedert extension look like? And what does Derek Barnett, have to do to get an extension and be re-signed? So what does a Dallas Goedert extension look like? That's you know,
as far as years, I mean, like I'll probably say maybe a 3-year deal. I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. 3 years.
Maybe a 3-year deal. You know, it's tough, but my thing is he definitely deserves an extension, in my humble opinion. Because I feel like
absolutely,
yeah, athletic. Like when it comes to running after the catch, he does everything. Can you imagine if Zach Ertz had the run like the rack ability as Dallas Goedert? It'll be insane, you know. So Dallas Goedert, he does a lot of dynamic things, man. He's a beast. He's aggressive. I want to see him extended. I want to see what he can do with tight end one, you know, type of snaps. I really believe Dallas Goedert can be I'll go off on a limb, man. I really believe Dallas Goedert can be like a top 5 tight end if he gets the targets and gets the opportunity. I really believe that he has the physical and he has the physical tangibles. You know, he has the dog in him. He has hands. You know, I really want to see what Dallas Goedert can really materialize into with those tight end one snaps. And then when it comes to Derek Barnett, I'll be honest with you, man. Derek Barnett, he needs to have a double-digit sack season to get an extension from me. That's how I feel. Only 12 and a half. Only I believe in his 3-year career, only has, I want to say, 19 sacks so far. Let me double check that. You can go ahead, Hunter, or I want to fact check that because in his career, 19 and a half sacks. He only has 19 and a half sacks so far, being in the NFL for 3 years. Well, 4 years. I'm sorry, 4 years. That's unacceptable to me.
Yeah,
Unacceptable.
the Super Bowl run was his rookie year. Yeah, so it's been 4 years. Yep.
So
Yeah,
I can read out some of the. Do you guys want to hear some of the contract values and where they
Go for
land?
it. Yeah.
All right. So I pulled it up real quick just to kind of get a feel for where some of these guys kind of rank in that contract. But it's kind of an interesting little number here that kind of stacks up. So the highest paid player, guys, probably not a big surprise here. It's Kittle. Kittle's only 28. He's got $75 million worth of total value in his contract. $15 million average per year. $40 million of that guaranteed to that 75. Like I said, he's 28. Travis Kelce, he just redid his deal. 7.25, so $57,250,000 total value. 14.3 a year on average. 27 million guaranteed. He is 32. Hunter Henry's 27 with the Patriots. 37.5, $37,500,000. 12.5 on the average per year. 25 million guaranteed. Jonnu Smith, also signed with the Patriots. He's 26. 50 million in total value, but 12.5 on the year, 31.2 guaranteed. Difference being Jonnu Smith got a longer contract, clearly. Austin Hooper with the Browns got 42 million. That's about 10.5 million per year, 23 million guaranteed. Zach Ertz, 31. He's got 42.5 million in total value, about 8.5 million per year. So he had a longer kind of contract. 20 million of it was guaranteed. Kyle Pitts, I'll leave off just because I think he hasn't really signed that yet. So I'm not too sure that one's correct yet. But Jimmy Graham with the Bears, 35 years old, making 16 million a year. Signed basically like a 2 or 3 year deal. He's getting 8 million a year, 9 million of that guaranteed. So
that's crazy.
Wow.
That is insane.
Yep. Gronk's on a 1 year, $8 million deal. Darren Waller's 29. He's got a total value of 29.8, so 29,800,000. He's earning about 7.45 million a year and about 16.5 guaranteed. I'm going to say that's probably about the area for Dallas Goedert. I think it's a Darren Waller-like contract. Or Tyler Higbee, who got 29 even, earns about 7.25 a year on average and got about 15 million guaranteed. I think he's going to be around Higbee and Waller's contract value. Let me see if I can't get specifics on the amount of years they signed. But I'm trying to see if I can't see that. I know I can go to like different websites and find it out if I really wanted to, but
yeah, I mean, to me, a Goddard extension is probably around the 3 year deal, 30 million, something like that, roughly around that area. And with Derek Barnett, first and foremost, he's got to be on the field. He's got to be available. Yeah. He's had way too many injuries, way too much issue with that department. So first and foremost, Derek Barnett's going to be on the field to even be considered to get any kind of extension. And like Tone said, he's got to have at least 8 or 9, if not double-digit sacks. He's got to be productive.
He just has to make it done. You know what I'm saying? And I think somebody mentioned, Brandon Graham, he was a late bloomer, this and the third. I understand that, but they had Brandon Graham playing out of position. They had him at linebacker. So that played a factor in his development. So we can't forget that nuance. Derek Barnett has been at DN his entire career thus far. And in my opinion, he's underachieved. That's just my humble opinion. When you break Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee and you're this highly touted guy and the Eagles pick, like, my thing is, like, you have to be more dominant than that. You know what I'm saying? You have to make more of an impact than that. Like you said, like you said, Foothills, he has to stay healthy. That's like, stay healthy at the very least. But at this point, health alone won't get him a contract from me.
No.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, with Derek Barnett too, like the personal foul penalties, I'm kind of tired of those. I know that doesn't happen all the time, but it's like, man, come on, like, you're underachieving right now and you're getting a big penalty that's costing us. Like, let's step it up, I feel like he won a lot with his athleticism at Tennessee. A lot of the time, not all the time, but in my opinion, I don't think we've seen much progression since that rookie year of his. I feel like it's kind of he's been consistent, but I don't feel like he's reached his peak or his potential that he can reach. I think he can reach it, but I don't think he's reached it yet. And I agree with you guys. I think he's got to have a big year this year and really break out. kind of like, I don't want to compare it to Josh Sweat because Josh Sweat's, it's a different situation. But like at the beginning of the year, kind of how we saw Josh Sweat just like rolling. He was on fire to start the year. I kind of want to see a little bit of a glimpse of that of Derek Barnett, but for the entire season, I want to see him just really having a lot of production. As for Dallas Goedert, I definitely think you gotta bring him back. I think Foothills makes a good case. Like $30 million, 3 years might make sense. I want to ask you guys though, like with his frame, obviously he got hurt this year. Are you guys concerned about potential injuries with him just being a bigger guy, taking a lot of bigger blows, and then, having the contract extension not work out? Or are you just, giving him the money just because he's been so reliable and so productive when he's been on the field? I think I'm still giving him the money, but I am a little bit concerned about it.
Yeah, he definitely has been injury riddled these past couple years. 2018, he played all 16 games. 2019, he played 15 games. But then 2020 was his worst year as far as health. Only played 11 games. So for the most part, he's healthy. I think last year, I want to consider 2020 an anomaly when it comes to his health because everybody was hurt. Everybody.
Right.
I want to consider it an anomaly, but I just believe the dude can really just give us that athleticism we've been needing at the tight end position. Zach Ertz was not an athletic guy at all. That wasn't his thing. He was a pure route runner with great hands.
Yeah.
And he caught the ball, and then he fell to the ground. So it was just so we need our tight end. I'm sorry, like we need our version of a Travis Kelce, a George Kittle who can catch the ball and then make a play. You know what I'm saying? And I think Dallas can be that guy. I'm not putting him on that level just yet, but I'm just saying as far as just productivity and being athletic, having the tools, I think he can be very productive. Coming to the season if we move him from Hurts and he's the number one tight end. It's going to be amazing to see what Nick Sirianni draws up for him.
Yeah, and to your point, Kittle also got hurt this past year as well. So
right, and then to make it even worse for Kevon Wallace, the game Kittle came back, he was destroying him.
Yeah,
I don't know why they had Kevon Wallace on him. It was just looking bad. It was just bad.
Hey guys, just real quick, I'm getting like a 50 million emails in Facebook, guys. I think my account got hacked. Do not open any link, guys. I promise you, I don't send links. That ain't me.
Oh, snap.
Don't open that crap. They're trying to hack you. Yeah.
Whoa. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. But yeah, you guys like this live stream has been, amazing, man. We've been rocking for 3 hours solid, man. And this, I'm glad Jalen really posed that question because we definitely needed to touch on Dallas Goedert and Derek Barnett. Those two guys have big contract or have contract years or on contract years pretty much. And we need to decide, what we're going to do with them. And it would piss me off if Derek Barnett was somewhere else and he just tore it up. So but at the same time, you can't really get mad because it is what it is. A guy didn't do what he was supposed to do. He's with you, and now he wants to. It is what it is, But that's all I really have. That's all I really have today. Was anything else you guys wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it, man. I mean, we know the contract values. I think that he's somewhere, like I said, around that Hunter Henry values where you would sign Dallas Goedert. But I mean, that's pretty much what I got, guys. Anyone else have anything else?
I don't have anything to say. This was an awesome live. Appreciate learning a little bit more about the fronts and everything from you, Gate, and just like learning from all you guys. I always appreciate hearing you guys' insight, and it's just always good to do roundtables like this. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, grateful, man.
Hey, I
agree. Same here. Yeah, just wanted to say thank you for having me on, and really enjoyed this. And I felt like I just kind of wanted to sit back and be a sponge and learn because. Definitely, the hype is real about Gate City Sports because he knows what he's talking about. He knows his stuff.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate
guys,
you having me on, man.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody here. Listen, this is what makes the Battle Birds podcast so great is that, this isn't even really ours as Mike, myself, and Reese. We came together as friends and thought of the concept, but man, everything about this, you guys thought up the name with Reese, you guys have made the thing sustain and keep going. it's really fun to have young content creators now. Some of you guys have watched this before you started your channels, like come in now because like it's just nice to know that this could outlive even Mike Reese and I. Like this could be something that becomes particular to Philadelphia and its content creators and carry that legacy forward. Like, guys, I really appreciate y'all, man. For real. I thank y'all so much for coming on and doing it. Mm-hmm.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, much
Always. Much love.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Once again, guys, if you follow me on Facebook, do not open that message, guys. Think about it. When's the last time I posted on Facebook, guys? When's the last time you saw a message from me? Don't open it, man. It ain't me. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm about to reset my password. If you get a message from me, guys, it's probably Twitter or Instagram. It ain't Facebook. So just be careful, guys. I'll send out a mass email just letting everybody know, or a message on Facebook just letting everybody know not to don't open that because I want nobody else getting hacked. But all right, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in, guys. We will see you guys on the next Battlebirds podcast. Hey, y'all don't forget, I linked everybody's channels down in the description below. So you got Tone Deshields is in there. Philly Notion, who left us a little earlier, his is in there. We got Philly Foothills, who's right below me right here. His link is in the bottom. Then we got Hunter Doyle. So Hunter has Philly Insider Podcast. He's also a contributor for FanSided, right, Hunter?
Yep. Yeah.
Appreciate it. So, yeah, check out Hunter's articles on FanSided, guys.
Sure. Does great work, man. Does great work, man.
Appreciate that, Tom.
I hope Hunter really does his thing, man. You know, it's so dope. You know, I just want to say something real quick before we get out of here. It's really dope. You know, always collaborating with you guys. I think this is the first time me and Hunter have collaborated. So it's been amazing, man. Like I really appreciate all you guys. Really, just peeling the layers back of the game. You know, and then also I'm just I really enjoy just picking you guys' brains, man. This is just really, really always is an enlightening experience, and I look forward to these things, man. My wife always says, "You go for 3-4 hours," and I'm like, I'm like, hey, listen, like this is life here. so you guys are amazing. I want you guys to know you guys are really doing it on a high level. You guys deserve all the success that comes your way. Left, right, front, back, side to side. You guys deserve it all, man. You guys are truly, truly one of one, respectively.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, man.
It, Tom.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Until the next time, we're out of here. We appreciate y'all so much, guys. I'll see y'all next weekend. I don't know what the topic's going to be next weekend, guys. Let's just see what craziness Philadelphia brings us.
One love, everybody.
Peace.